Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 385 of Spittin Chiclets, presented by Pink Whitney from our friends at New Amsterdam Vodka here in the Barstool Sports podcast family. Folks, we are knee deep into the playoffs. Couple upsets, couple surprises, lots of stuff we might have expected, but let's check in with the fellas first. We were down in New York City last week, Biz, so let's go to you first. Go out of order a little bit. Did you have fun last week or what? Yeah, why not?
I had a blast. Great way to kick off the playoffs. Unfortunately, we did not have Whit there, but a couple great live streams. Got to hang out with Stu Feiner. What a character that guy is. Probably one of the craziest motors I've ever seen. I don't know how a guy that age is still going the way he's going. But then traveled down to Atlanta. We've had a couple nights at TNT. Whit, I know some of the games you haven't necessarily been that thrilled about. I thought that we had a couple good ones, especially yesterday with the Avalanche. And then another good one to follow. So it's been great, man. I've been pumped and hanging out with Wayno, a couple late nights in his room, enjoying a few pops, and all's good here, brother.
I think Stu Feiner could wear out the actual active energy. That guy is fucking insane, man. He's a blast, a lot of fun to hang out, but boy, man, he's fucking revved high. Mikey G, what's going on with you, buddy? Always a pleasure to hang out with you in New York City.
Yeah, it was a pleasure, boys. I'm just bees are buzzing. I'm dishing out winners left and right. You guys are coming back to New York this week, so which means I'll get a few more nice dinners. So I'm on top of the world right now, really.
How many of these G-Wagons have you hit? That's your gambling bet, right?
Yeah.
It's called the G-Wagon?
It's called the G-Wagon. We do it with the score bet up in Canada. I believe I've hit the last 5 or 6 in a row. So, I mean, total, I think it's like 8 or 9 in one. Like, I'm buzzing right now.
Hot seat RA, because you've been cold as hell, haven't you?
Cold is the other side of the pillow times 5,000.
Yeah, I said cold as hell, probably the worst analogy in world history.
Let's rewind for a second.
Maybe the worst gambler in the world.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, like I said, we're going to rewind for a second. I think a clarification is in order, not just for you guys, but for the general consensus. We give we make props up. We make up bets that we give out on the score in Barstool Sports. Those aren't my personal plays. When we give props out, I'm not saying, "Oh, this is my pick for the night." Like the other night, I have Kucherov.
So you just give out losers to the fans.
All right, this is like me going minus 46 on a season and blaming the 10 empty net minuses.
Not at all, Whit. Not at all. Listen,
which
picks
probably
have
has
sucked.
been done too.
My picks have sucked.
I've done it like 15 times.
Wait, my picks have sucked this year. It's been a brutal year. It's been my worst statistical.
Half our fan base is homeless because of you.
Yeah,
and you're
honestly,
fucking,
dude,
you're backpedaling out of it.
Canada's trying to fucking leave the country because all my shitty plays. But that's not the point. The point is when I go on and say, all right, this is what I like tonight. Here's my play. That's my bet. When we say, all right, here's a prop we're offering tonight that we come up with, a little fun, something to do. That's not me saying, oh, my God, I'm backing this 100%. It's a prop that we come up with. We have a little fun with. We get creative, and we offer it to people who want to play with it. That's not me saying I'm guaranteeing this. I want to fucking you to bet this. Those are the other shitty things I put in my fucking Instagram videos. That I was awful, but, a little 5-0 stretch this week. Fucking 2-2 after that.
5-0 stretch. The Rangers got worked last night.
Well, that's why I said 7-2. I went 5-0, and then I went 2-2, 7-2. What did I have today? The Bruins last night. I got Tampa tonight. I mean,
okay, all right. Maybe heating up, trying to get some people out of the poorhouse to stop having to sleep on trains.
Point being is that I get my picks out. You can shit on me all you want for them, and again, they've been awful. But when we come up with props to give out to the players to have fun with, those aren't me putting my name to these bets. That's like, okay, it's a prop that me or G or Merles or whoever else has come up with that, to bet on.
Brunel's shaking his head. He wants no association to you right now.
I'm putting my name all over the G-Wagon. I'm slapping my name on the G-Wagon's ass.
Okay. Knock yourself out. I'm just saying, like, I have different fucking, not standards, just like people know when I'm betting a game. I'm telling you to bet this fucking game. Also, it's like, okay, here's a prop that me and the other guys designed, and if you want to bet
basically,
it, have fun with it.
This is an advertisement for if I give out a prop bet, don't take it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you had Kucherov, Kaprizov, and both teams win, you would have got plus 1,200 the other night, so suck on that way.
Okay, so I guess that's the opposite. So take his bets, even though he's not putting his name behind it. But in terms of the G-Wagon, you're all in. And I'll introduce myself because we went NRA a little bit. What's going on, boys? I did miss last week in New York. I am back, though. I am going to be in New York tomorrow morning. I'm heading out or down. I'm heading down to the Big Apple, and I'm going to be at a stream Monday night, and I'm going to be at a stream Tuesday night. Both nights in Hoboken. We get the Rangers Penguins tomorrow, or tonight as you're listening, Monday. And Tuesday, we got the Bruins and the Canes Game 5, as well as the Leafs Lightning Game 5. Everything will be going on. We got Barstool personalities. Tuesday night, very special guests, the Rink Shrinks, Brian Yandel and Mike Model will be joining me. And Merles, as always, will be there with myself, RA, and Grinelli. So I can't wait to get going. What else is going on? Yeah, so we have a million things to talk about. Biz, you've been crushing it on TNT. The broadcasts have been great. And when you mention I haven't been thrilled. Yes, some of the games, I mean, you just said you had a great Avs-Preds game. It was 7-3 yesterday. I don't know what you want me to say.
Hey, if I can get 2 electric periods, you had that goal controversy in which really swung the game. I think that so far the storyline, in my opinion, has been all these coaches' challenges. I think there's been 6, and a few of which have decided games. Rangers fans were losing on me, sending me death threats via Instagram because I said that the Capo Caco goal shouldn't have counted. Guys, I'm a fucking Penguins diehard. And I also hate Rangers fans. So screw you. Penguins are up 2-1. Kiss my ass. I called you guys fugazis, and I know I'm right at least about one thing, because my teams are getting fucking bent over right now. Well, I guess the Leafs are up 2-1. But
all 17 of them?
The Leafs are the Leafs are up 2-1, but currently down 3-0.
Yeah,
in
it's
game
2-2.
4.
It's 2-2 in the series.
I don't know. I'm a little scared. There's a lot of hockey left to be played, but Tampa after a loss. But what series are we starting off with here, Ari? Because I will say there's been a lot of kind of games that have been over come the third period, middle of the third period. 6-1 Capitals up on the Panthers. Who would have thought that in game 3? But we could start wherever you want to start. Your world. We're living in it.
Yeah.
Well, it's your world, too, because it's a pink Whitney world, Ryan Whitney. The playoffs are in full swing, and so aren't you a spring fling. So grab some of the old pink Whitney and make this a spring to remember while rooting on your favorite squad, while it's the Celtics, Bruins, or any other team, while you're just enjoying the lovely weather. Grab some fresh pink Whitney with some club soda or on the rocks. I like that way. All right. You know what? Business favorite team.
It was pretty. If you're asking honestly, it was pretty low energy. I wasn't
thought it
very thrilled.
Sucked.
Yeah,
but
sucked.
You asked me. I wouldn't have said anything if you hadn't asked me. I thought you'd be like, "Bing, bang, boom, pink Whitney. It's pink. It's good. It tastes great. It gets you banged up. You can enjoy it in the summer. You can enjoy it in the winter. New Amsterdam vodka. Thanks for joining. Not sitting back in your chair.
Like you just hit the fucking blunt.
Well, feel free to jump in anytime when I do them. So
just playoff hockey, all right.
Yeah,
I play best. I pod best when I'm angry.
So you should be on all the time then. All right, listen.
I am.
Right now, I think is it 3-0 right now, Tampa, game 4, boys?
Yes, we just said that.
For the fourth time, yes.
I'm focusing on the show, not the fucking TV, because
so
I'm looking. All right, either way, the teams took turns beating up on each other first couple games. They went down to fucking Tampa. Now it looks like they're going to split the other 2 games. It's going to go at least 6 games. Matthews off and on, Mana off and on.
Watch your mouth.
Oh.
No, I actually, for the first time this podcast, I'll agree on that. It's been the Jekyll and Hyde show with the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I'll tell you what, I think most of you Leafs fans will agree. Right off that opening faceoff, you saw how fucking revved up Tampa was to go. You saw Ross Colton give McKayev the cross check, and then they ended up tossing the centers. Tampa snaps back the draw. There's no forward split off the draw for Toronto. They look timid. I knew from the fucking minute that puck dropped that Tampa was going to shove one right up their goddamn hoop. So I don't know if they're not passing out the sniffers on games after wins for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I don't know what exactly Sheldon Keefe is saying before that game in order to prep them. I don't know if the Leafs think that after they beat them a game that they're just going to die over. 15 fucking games in a row that they've lost, they've responded with a win. So if I'm the Toronto Maple Leafs coach, I go in that fucking locker room and maybe I chuck a couple water coolers just to get them fired up after a victory, because they fucking just think that they're going to roll over and die. And if I know I sound a little bit irritated right now, but obviously I have taken on this Leafs team. I'm all in on them. I thought 100% they're going to beat the defending champs. I gave it the Charles Barkley guarantee on the TNT broadcast, and now I look like a fucking moron again. So I don't know what their problem is. I don't know what's going on with this Jekyll and Hyde show. You got Vezina type caliber play from Jack Campbell one night, and the next it looks like you got fucking RA in net. after he hit the fucking, well, maybe not a ball hockey. He looks like RA during a fucking ad read for Pink Whitney. That's what he looks like.
Biz, saying, and now we're talking like this game's over, and RA has been the guy for the last 2 to 3 seasons in the NHL that 3-0 early on is not even close to over, especially when RA and Portnoy bet them. So we got 2 periods left. So who knows how this thing ends up, but the effort is amazing. Game 1, Toronto, I shit my pants. I was absolutely losing my mind. I said it on the pod. I go, we could be in trouble here, fellas. And game 2, exactly, went exactly as Tampa always plays after losses. It was very interesting reading. It was Hedman. I was reading an article in The Athletic. It was Hedman talking about how they take these losses personal. And this group that's been through so much together, they look at these losses like slaps in the face. They look at them like complete disrespect. And then they look at themselves in the mirror and they say, we have better and we got to be better. And every single time they do it. And throughout 3 games, man, Vasilevsky's been outplayed big time by Campbell. Big time. Tonight, he wasn't really tested in the first period. We're only at the first intermission. But that team comes back quick and they bounce back and they have a plan for every single game. In this article, they talked about after losses, or after every game, I should say, but especially after losses, they have 5 to 7 minute meetings. In these video meetings, anyone could be called out. It mentions, I think it's Belmar mentions it could be a Stamkos turnover. It could be a Ross Colton turnover. By the way, Ross Colton, New Jersey native. What a fucking hockey player.
Yeah.
He takes that, looks like he broke his nose in the first game on the hit, and he's been a lightning rod.
Probably the Toronto
No
Wolf.
pun intended. Ever since he threw the hit on Giordano, he buried him 10 seconds into the game. Stamkos scores 20 seconds later. So this team has a plan after a loss, and then every single time they just go out and they get it done. So if this game completely switches up and Toronto ends up winning it, that probably is the series, because to come back from 3-0 in Tampa to go up 3-1 in this series would be miraculous. And it'd be, even the Leafs couldn't fucking blow that one, or could they? But Cooper had an interesting quote going after Campbell a little bit. He said, we've scored 7 goals on him in the last 2 games. So if he's going to sit here and have a 3.5 goals against average in every 2-game set, we'll take that. A little bit of a chirp, Biz just trying to maybe get in his head for a guy who's looked great. Cooper's maybe playing the mind.
You think he's playing mental warfare?
Bombay's time.
Coach Bombay's playing mental warfare? I'm shocked. Hey, but I will say, game 2, like normally Coop's got a bit of a glow on the bench and he doesn't seem like super angry. Game 2, he had a fucking game face on.
Scowl.
But now, saying that, you mentioned how they take these losses personal. Kucherov, Hedman, probably the worst 2 players on the ice for the Tampa Bay Lightning in game 1. Probably the 2 best in game 2, led by Victor Hedman, had a monster game. As far as Coop's post-game press conference after game 3, he is just fucking irritated with the amount of penalties that they're taking. It has been a constant parade to the penalty box. It was that way for the Leafs in game 1, but they were able to scave off all those penalties. I thought that 5-minute kill was just so massive, and that's what kind of got the crowd going behind him. But as far as the response in game 4 here, much like game 2, it's just like, what the fuck are you expecting them to do? Not come out and play for their playoff lives? They've been here and done that. It's like, Toronto, you need to be playing for your fucking playoff lives. And I just don't like the response after victories. Much like we saw last year against Montreal. Don't take your foot off the gas. Anyway.
Biz, you got to though, if this game ends up, you got to having home ice advantage in a 2 out of 3 set, right? And I said, I think I guaranteed, maybe I didn't guarantee this one. I know I guaranteed Minnesota, St. Louis, and I think I said this one too. Both are going 7. Both are going 7. We knew it before the series started. I really thought this Leafs team, the best Leafs team of all time, I know they're good, and I think this will be a test. I think this is going to go 7. Now, the question is, does Tampa win game 5, right? Because if they lose game 5, the Leafs are completely fucked, right? Because then it's definitely going 7, and then you never know. If they win game 5, the Leafs could also be really fucked, but it could end in 6. I'm basically making no sense, besides the fact that we now know if the Lightning lose, you bet on them the next game. RA, it was his pick of the night, and right now it looks great. So
the only other thing that stood out to me, RA, before I throw it back over to you, is Leafs had that game in game 3 in a stranglehold. It was 3-1. They're on the penalty kill. Okay. Kerfoot has the puck outside the blue line. He has full control of it, nowhere near anybody. And he tries to protect it. And then one of the defensemen comes up, bodies on me, turns it over, goes back the other way, 3-2 game. Was my arsehole puckered up? Oh, it sure was. They ended up holding on to that victory. But for any of you fucking kids listening, just dump the goddamn puck in below the goal line and get the fuck off the ice on a kill. Like, what was he doing there? Did you see that play?
It was the same. It was similar to, like, on a penalty kill today, Trocheck, instead of just putting it softly down the end of the ice, he flips it out of the rink. And the Bruins get a 5-on-3. It's like when you're on the PK, it is so simple to shoot it on the ice if nobody's near you down the other end. People get so, I don't know, kind of enamored with like making.
It's like when you have, it's like you have too much time and then you're just over. Yeah.
Simple, hard hockey, simple, hard podcasting, fucking ad reads. That's what wins games. Yeah. That's what gets people going. And I'll say this: Toronto should still be happy where they're at. I really do think that.
You should take that ad read loss personal, and I hope you bounce back in the next one.
I thought it was trying to be like soothing and like old school with it.
Well, you weren't.
We're playoff hockey. This isn't soothing time.
Fuck you, pay me. All right.
We're not fucking reading by the fire reading a fucking novel.
Wait. All right. What do you think about the Toronto-Tampa series? I try to mix those words, a little collab. Tampa Bay.
I wish that the games were more competitive. I know that, like, it's basically like blowout. Like this is a blowout right now. It's 3-0. I wish they were a little more competitive. But
yeah, and I wish Santa Claus was real. What else you got for us?
Oh, we got youngins listening to that, Biz. Fucking spoiler alert. I wanted to ask you, Biz, what did you think of no Spets of the first couple? Then they put them in. They ended up having a little bit different effect.
So I understood why, because I think they wanted to match the physicality. And you saw the pre-quotes before the series started with Keith basically saying, we know it's going to get violent. And we know that, when things get difficult for them, Tampa, they could play any way you want. I know we said that about Calgary all season long, but Tampa, if you want to play that 2-1 shutdown game, they can play it. Now, when he ended up getting sussy the one game, I thought in game 2, I love Simmons. I've been a Simmons fan since his days back in Philly and what he brings to the lineup. He has definitely lost.
Did he ever beat you up, Biz?
No, thank God. He did laugh at me when I broke my stick over my knee when I had a turnover at the blue line after I fought and gave them momentum when we were up 3-1 and they ended up coming back 4 unanswered. But thanks for bringing it up. But going back to Spezza being back in the lineup, I think that was partly also due to the fact that Simmons took 2 really dumb penalties in game 2. And it cost them. And we talk about undisciplined penalties on both sides of it. We talked about Cooper earlier, but I think that he was one of the best playoff performers for the Leafs last year. I think he had 5 points in the 7 games against Montreal between him and Nylander. And what he does help out is that second unit power play too, because what I was noticing in game 3 was on that second unit, they're able to work it from the other side and also give Tampa a different look. When you're very like one-dimensional and you have the same type of power play, I guess it's probably a lot easier to defend. Well, they were working it from the other side. I noticed they were trying that high tip play a lot, where he would kind of come up off the wall and he would almost like slap pass it towards the net, or if the lane was open, he would just put it to the net. So I love the insertion of him. Was I surprised that they didn't have him off the hop? Absolutely, given last year's playoff performance, but I understood the mentality. After game 2 and the dumb Simmons penalties, I knew he was going to be in game 3. So I think they got to stick with him the rest of the series. Not only that, also probably for a calming voice inside that locker room, given that, as much as my arsehole gets puckered up, guys in the Leafs locker rooms arsehole get puckered up, and we can see by the display in that first period by them. So I'll throw it back to you, RA. Other than the disappointment and the lack of excitement in these games, which I thought in game 3 it was pretty exciting, what else have you seen from this series?
Honestly, I haven't been that entertained by it, to be frank. It's just been like I said, it's been a blowout, or it's 3-0, 4-0. It's not enough to keep you entertained. I mean, obviously, you want better games out of it, but at the same time, I think it's going to go 6 or 7.
Well, what series has entertained you, RA? Why don't we hop to that? We don't need to talk about Toronto and Tampa. We're only 3 games in. It looks like it's going to be tied 2-2 going back to Toronto. What series has interested you the most?
I like this Minnesota-St. Louis one. I know they've been kind of beating up on each other a little, but it's 2 contenders. I would say this is the closest series out there as far as teams competitively close to each other. I know St. Louis beat up on them once. Fucking Minnesota got back at them. But I think these are the two closest teams out there. So I've been enjoying it. There's been some bad blood out there. Marc-Andre Fleury's gotten 3 straight starts. I know everyone thought Cam Talbot was going to get in there. They bring in Fleury. They don't waste him. They bring him in. They throw him right out there. How do you think Cam Talbot feels right now? Do you think he's a team guy? Like, obviously, he's going to say the right thing.
Well, they had a talk with him as soon as it happened. And was he probably upset? I thought it was Cam Talbot's net to lose when Fleury came over. And I thought he lived up to every expectation, given that amount of pressure where you have that internal competition. I was actually surprised they did start with him. I actually wrote down in my notes where if I was a coach, I would have actually started Talbot. But boy, was I wrong. I think that he's been solid in every game in this series. Even today, I know they lose. What was the final? Ended up being 5-2.
Yeah, today he was okay.
Well, buddy, I mean, the late charge probably didn't like the goal from O'Reilly when it was already 4-2 and they'd already scored the empty netter. And realistically, 3-2 game in my opinion, right? So I think he even made like a gesture after the goal, like fuck, like when after the O'Reilly goal with his glove, basically being like, yeah, that one's on me, squeaker. But I mean, other than that, man, like I felt that he kept him in that game early. I thought in the first period, St. Louis was all over him. I thought it could have been way more than 1-0. Although did the first period end 1-0?
That game, well, it was 1-1 when it should have been 5-0.
Correct.
Like St. Louis was dominating game 4. I kind of agree with the whole sense of Talbot was great when Fleury came over, as was Fleury, and it's like you go with the cup winner. You go with the cup winner. Maybe after game 1, I was a little bit surprised Talbot didn't go in with the beating the Blues put on. But boom, the next 2 games, what happens? The storyline in goal switches. It switches sides because the Wild get 11 goals in games 2 and 3. They dust the Blues, both of them, and we get Jordan Binnington back in net for game 4. This guy, I couldn't believe. I think I knew this. I just hadn't remembered. His last win was Game 7 of the Cup Finals in the playoffs.
Nine straight losses coming into this game today. 9 straight
losses, and so you can imagine the stress and the feeling of probably for him. Not only am I in this to kind of save this series, we can't go down 3-1 going back to mini. But also, like, I just got to get that win. I got to get that win. I got to get back on the winning side. I got to feel good. I'll get the next start if I get a win. And there was a couple sketchy moments down the end. A horrible pinch by Perunovic, the defenseman.
Oh, my God.
We've seen some pinches. Now, for people who aren't necessarily sure what a pinch is, I'm pretty sure everyone does know. And by the way, you brought up Santa Claus. If you got a kid that's young enough that he doesn't know Santa Claus fake and you're allowing him to listen to this podcast, you deserve that and probably jail time. But back to the pinches. When you're playing in the playoffs and specifically in a third period 1-goal game when your team's leading as a defenseman, you cannot pinch at the offensive blue line unless you are 100% certain that the center or a winger is behind you to make sure it will be a 2-on-2 if it were to happen. Even then you don't want to, because why have a 2-on-2 against the forward? You've seen different instances in this playoff so far of defensemen going in, not getting the puck, and then not even getting the man. Today it was Hartman. He had a blatant chance, and Binnington made a huge right pad save.
Big time.
The game would have been tied. You see some mental, I don't know, mistakes. Brain farts going on.
I wanted to bring up.
I want to touch on the odd man rushes. Talk mentioned it. I think he had Jazz, our statistician at TNT, bring it up.
Name
and stop me dead in my tracks. Fuck! Now I lost my train of thought. God damn it!
Boy, 3-on-2.
Talk did that to me on the TNT broadcast too the other day. He fucking jammed me up. Okay, yeah, odd man rushes. Excuse me. I think there've been 16 goals on odd man rushes, and sticking with this series in Game 3, right off the hop in St. Louis, Parenko ends up dipping in. Mind you, in Game 4, you said it, Whit. He was probably the best guy on the ice via text.
Unbelievable.
He ends up dipping in. And what you're talking about too on these pinches is you're saying that unless you have that forward support, F3, the high guy, if he's not above that center or guy in the middle of the ice, you cannot go dipping in. And then of course the obvious is you can't get beat by your winger along the wall as that puck comes up. But he looks peripherally. It looked like Perron was in good shape. And then next thing you know, puck goes by him, and Eriksson Ek, who at the time peripherally looked like he was behind Perron, gets shot out of a cannon. Greenway opens up perfectly, back down the other way, and boom, in the back of the net. Before you know it, they're down 1-0. So some massive brain farts that we're seeing. And I was asking Talk, I said, why do you think that is? He goes, I think it's because all these guys, especially when at home, the adrenaline's pumping and you're getting overzealous. And to be fair,
not simple hockey.
And then he also brought up Sidney Crosby. He goes, but to be fair, he says, Pittsburgh's a very structured team. So normally that F3 is above his guy. And when that puck comes along the wall, if that D is not on his toes and maintain that possession inside the zone and then backs off and all of a sudden they got a back check, he comes back to the bench usually and goes, Letang, wake those fucking guys up. Be on your toes. You have that F3 support. We need to keep that puck in the offensive zone. But to go even further, know who the hell is on the ice. Sticking with the odd man rush theme, a defenseman for LA. He's on the ice with Draisaitl and McDavid. First game in LA where they end up getting spanked. Same thing. He dips in. Draisaitl and McDavid, two best fucking players in the league, down the other way, and perfect execution on that 2-on-1 as McDavid waits for Roy's stick to come over, baits him in. Perfect little sauce. So we are seeing tons of brain farts defensively. As I mentioned, Talk said he thinks it's because guys being overzealous, overhyped up, overhorned up offensively, and it's leading to all these odd man rush goals. So I've said the word odd man rush enough times for your guys' brain to explode. So I'm going to hand it off to one of you two.
Hey, Kairu's goal today. Holy shit. Well, did he have two actually? Though in between the legs, one of the most beautiful goals I've ever seen. I couldn't believe the poise he had. And then Flowers kind of swimming. He backhands it in. I mean, that guy, these two teams are so evenly matched. Kaprizov's been the best player in the series, right? We said he's the best player in the series. He has been. Binnington made a huge save on him late in the third today as well, with the shoulder on kind of that wraparound Peter Forsberg shot. But up 4-0. 4-0. Series is tied. That was the goal we needed to make sure it was over. Paul Campbell saved this guy's confidence. Holy shit. Oh, Ross Colton. What did I say? Now he's got a goal. This guy's an absolute gamer.
All right, we get it. Move on.
What else in Minnesota?
So penalty shot. We got to talk about the penalty shot in game one. There we go. Barbashev, I thought it was a nice defensive play by Brodin. Fucking they called penalty shot. It was a stick check. What, was that a penalty shot or just a fucking nice defensive play?
I have a statement to make about penalty shots, goalie interference, tripping, hooking, anything you could think of, really. I don't know what's a penalty. I don't know what's a goal. I don't know anything.
What okay, so which goaltender interference do you have an issue with right now? And let's talk about it. Off the top of your head, what was the worst non-reversal or reversal saw of the
so the Kako one.
Brutal.
No, I agreed that was goaltender interference. So I don't get the fans that say it wasn't. And then the one I actually thought in Colorado yesterday, it wasn't called goaltender interference, and I thought it kind of was, like his skates blocking the goalie. I don't get it. I don't get it. There's times defensemen push the player in, and it's still not called. It is called. I think I'm confused with all of them.
Okay, so let's go back to the New York one. The reason I said, and I had a couple Rangers fans, one specifically, this fucking donkey. I said on the TNT broadcast, when he's going into the net, he starts on the right side of the ice and he's heading towards the left side of the ice. His blades are facing that way. And maybe towards the end, slightly, you start seeing a little bit of snow. Nowhere near the one you saw by Lehkonen in the Colorado game. So regardless of the fact that he ends up bumping in with the Pittsburgh defenseman, there's no way he would have stopped in time to not hit Louis Domingue. And he did end up hitting Louis Domingue, and that's why they called it off. You can't when your blades are headed that way, and how close he was to the goaltender with the amount of speed he had going into the net. There's not a chicken dick's chance in hell that he's going to get stopped in time. But these fucking idiots who never played at a high level nor never played have never skated that fast and know that you wouldn't have been able to turn your blades in time to not run into Louis Domingue. Now, let's switch over to Colorado, Nashville. Okay. So the sole argument of the call will be whether you thought that the Nashville defenseman pushed Lehkonen in enough to cause him to make contact.
And I didn't.
Okay.
But I still thought it would be no goal.
Which is fair. So if that's your thinking, listen, now that one was a complete coin toss. The reason why I thought it should have counted is because, well, his momentum is going that way, and he did have that guy in his back. And I think that probably caused him to run into the defense, or not the defenseman, the goaltender, Ingram's skate. Now, Ingram does move his skate outside the crease. One thing that Coho said was, it doesn't matter. You're not allowed to impede the goaltender's position to make the save. But I figured, given the fact that Lehkonen made the attempt to stop, in which he was stopping, his blades were turned in a stopping position, and you saw the amount of snow that was coming up in that stop, I thought with no push in the back, he would have been able to stop in time. Now, here's what's crazy, and here's what I'm hearing. Because it was a 50-50, that call was sent to Toronto, and then Toronto was unable to make a decision on.
So it's on the refs?
So
it's on the call on the ice.
So they send it back to the officials for the 50-50 and say, if your original call was that, and that's how you felt about the play, you make the call. Now, people hearing that at home might say, that's fucking chicken shit. You have millions of dollars of software to get every angle, blah, 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 blah. I honestly thought, if I was in Toronto, I would have called that a goal. And that was pretty much the series, because if that would have been disallowed, well, I mean, I'll refrain from that statement. It could have been a lot closer, because all of a sudden now that's games 3-3 as opposed to now it's 4-3. And then they put the Avs back on the power play. And we all know what happens when that happens, especially in game 3. They were just snapping around. Cale Makar in game 2.
Dude.
That might have been the greatest playoff performance by a defenseman we have ever seen. 11
shots.
Not
even recency bias, folks.
I'm going to say this.
Legit freak of nature.
I got
5-0.
Sorry, Christ. The wheels are really falling off. I got carpal tunnel in both wrists from giving fucking Roman Josi hand doogies all season long. I think with that one game, I would be willing to say, give him the Norris. I know you people at home are saying, that's a playoff game. That's nothing to do with who wins it.
Well, they already voted.
Well, then they should fucking ask for their ballots back and change it up, or make it a revote. So some of you are, I'm sure a lot of you are disagreeing with my breakdowns on those two goalie interference. I think that they both were very similar, and that's what people seem to be comparing in the confusion. But
would you not say that these people have a little bit of a gripe and a legitimate complaint that it's that confusing?
You can't keep everybody happy. I think that we can all agree on each of those were 50-50s, and then you have to pick a side. So I gave you the breakdown of probably the thinking between Toronto and the officials and everybody involved making the decision, in that they had to come to one, and why I thought that the Capo Caco one should not have counted, and then why the other one should have. So I know I've been a little bit long-winded.
If it goes to Toronto, they should have to make up the call, because these refs, the game is so quick. They're doing what they can. Yeah, they call it a goal on the ice. Toronto should not be allowed to say, like, sorry, boys, there's 6 of us sitting in a room. We can't figure it out. You guys basically decide.
But I also kind of disagree, because like the ref on the ice who made the call, like, he's got control of the game. He's saying, listen, we saw exactly what you saw. We saw that this was a 50-50. Do you believe that it should count? Because it was. Okay, I want to ask G and RA. Do you guys not agree, specifically the one in Colorado, Nashville, was a complete 50-50 with that Ingram kind of put his skate outside the crease, which changed things up last second, and the guy was also on his ass, and he did, in fact, make an attempt to stop?
I mean, I'll jump in. I watched it at the office, and everyone that I watched it with, I probably watched with 5 or 6 different people. Everyone was indifferent on the call. So it was a toss-up.
Okay, so is there any – all right, so G, all right. Is there any other call in sports besides, is it a catch, not a catch in the NFL that is like this?
Wow, great question.
Maybe a strike or a ball in Major League Baseball?
Yeah.
I understand Biz's point of like, yeah, there's like a bunch of 50-50s. You got to pick a side. My whole thing is like, I don't know if it's the speed of the game or the crease determining different factors in terms of inside the crease, outside the crease. It is fucking confusing. And it's becoming even more of a storyline, what seems like every season, with this year being basically the number one topic people are talking about so far in the playoffs. There's how many have there been? 7?
Great. I had a note somewhere. It's like every other game, it seems like there's one of these calls or interference. And Biz, to go back to your thing, I know I disagree. I thought Dumoulin totally pushed Kakko into fucking his own goalie. I don't know how people
bet
don't
the Rangers
think he did.
that night.
I know I did, and I acknowledge it fully, but I think I'm pretty good about like putting that aside. I thought he pushed him into the guy that we've seen it. I mean, we've seen calls go the other way where a guy had that similar contact and they
all right.
Okay,
so I also agree with you, and I did mention that, so I don't want people to think that I didn't say the same thing about the Capo Kakko one, but that's Dumoulin's ice just as much as Capo Kakko. So if he's heading that way, regardless, what was he? Hey, was he going to jump over the goalie last second? I don't know. He definitely didn't make an attempt to stop, so you got to call it no goal, in my opinion.
But if he doesn't push him, he might not crash into him. I mean, like,
but he also didn't push him. He met him for contact at the side. If you rewatch the replay compared to the Lehkonen one, Dumoulin's on his side. On the other one, the defenseman's on Lekkonen's back. That's the differentiation, in my opinion.
What about the Lucic one in Dallas on Saturday night?
No,
that stood up as a goal. I agreed with that one, but there was Dallas fans furious.
Well, I mean, then they're idiots because Ottinger clearly ends up kicking out his leg outside the crease last second. What's Lucic supposed to do? The Ottinger in that situation initiated the contact outside the crease, not Lucic. And from the overhead angle, it might look like he ends up like hitting his head or his upper body. He didn't. He completely avoided his upper body. So there's no excuse on that one. And fucking Calgary needs all the help they can get. So
we'll get to them. And
yeah. I know we will. But I know we kind of we jumped over from the Barbashev penalty. Did you guys want to summarize anything else about the Minnesota-St. Louis series? I was just going to touch on the fact that you said Kaprizov. I think he's tied an organization record for most goals in a playoff series with 5, and there's still probably another 3 games to go because we think this one's going 7.
He's got more records than the Beatles right now.
Yeah, and with Minnesota for sure. The Eriksson, Ek, Foligno, and Greenway line have been tremendous. St. Louis's back end is leaking oil. Scandella definitely playing banged up. And overall, very gutsy performance from that St. Louis back end in Game 4 in order to respond, despite being as banged up as they are. And that's pretty much all I had on the St. Louis Minnesota.
I noticed a lot of Minnesota fans. Granted, I hate saying this because it is online. I'm seeing, but not all over Dumba. And you saw him today on the Kyrou goal. He just kind of reversed it to O'Reilly to completely no one, and then Kyrou walked him. So, I mean, at times I think that kid could be a big difference maker, but to hear as many Minnesota fans down on his game as it seems, it was a little surprising to me. I don't watch them as much as fans are watching all 82, but you do notice that when talking about the defense of both teams, Minnesota has a big-time advantage with Krug out and Scandella battling injury. I thought Falk and Parayko were awesome today, and that series is going 7. And now you got Binnington back in net with some swagger that he's always had. So we'll see what happens at Game 5. I'm kind of guessing here, but I think over the course of NHL history and playoff series, I think Game 5 winners, when it's tied 2-2, go on to win 75-80% of the time. So you'll see in these next few games how important these Game 5s will actually be.
Something on like a lighter note. There was a really nice feature on Ryan O'Reilly's mother. Of course, it being Mother's Day, so shout out to all you moms out there. I know it's Monday, but Yoli, you sacrificed and did so many things for me. I love you to death. Have a happy Mother's Day. But
my mom's in Amsterdam, probably getting cranked.
Your mom is?
Yeah, she's over there probably eating brownies.
Space cakes?
Why is she in New Amsterdam?
Well, she's in Amsterdam, New Amsterdam.
Oh, yeah.
Pink Whitney. She's with a bunch of friends. They went over for a European trip. So, you shout out your mom. I should shout out Susie. I love you.
Biz, real quick, if I could jump in. One, shout out to my mom. Love you, Mom. But Biz, I've been emailing with Yoli all week. The Bissonets are going to be rolling deep to the Chiclets Cup from what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Lots of family members.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to be there for his funeral when he gets fucking stabbed in the neck by a Sabres fan.
Bill's mom is going to whack him.
I actually hired them all as security. Keep it in the family. I got the 20%.
Yeah, and you save money on him. You only got to pay him $5 a day.
I'm an expense
First guy to get killed by ketchup and mustard. He's going to be the first guy to get murdered with ketchup and mustard.
I thought you left. Hey, buddy, what's going on, man?
I try to get a fucking word in edgewise with you two.
But the reason why Ryan O'Reilly's mom was brought up was because she donated a kidney to Derek Nesbitt, who we ended up doing the ECHL Jungle Series video with, his father. And I ended up getting a chance to, it's an unbelievable story. They grew up in a small town in Ontario.
Wow.
Yeah. But Ryan O'Reilly, their family, I believe their father's named Bill O'Reilly. What do you, not adopted, but they were like a foster home. And they fostered many, many children growing up. So Ryan just spoke highly of his mother. It's an awesome feature. I ended up retweeting it. So all you people who have Twitter, go watch it. My words are not doing it justice, and just a very emotional feature on Mother's Day. So all you moms out there, I know there's like 4 of you listen to our podcast. We got a strong male demographic, but you guys deserve it. We love you. And anything else, RA?
That's amazing because I would, to give a kidney to, it wasn't a stranger, but I would never give one because in case my family needed one. So the fact she did that is so honorable and amazing. And then that it ends up being Nesbitt, who you've done a lot of stuff with. And that's a really cool story. I had no idea.
Kudos to anyone who donates a kidney. That's a huge deal. Boys, we're talking about playoffs. If there are playoff games in your town and you want to see a game and you want to get tickets last minute and you want great seats, where do you go with?
Game Time.
Boom. Game Time is the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports, and they make it easier than ever to score last-minute tickets on sports, concerts, and shows, and they guarantee the lowest prices. Game Time cracked the code on how to score late deals for last-minute tickets. I'm telling you, there's no better way to snag tickets. Gee, tell us what you did.
Get a Bees playoff game, baby. That's the goal. That's the goal with Game Time app. Get me to a Bees playoff game.
I've had a bunch of messages from people that they went to different Stanley Cup playoff games using Game Time so far, kind of thanking us for teaching them and showing them about Game Time on Spittin Chiclets. So this thing is no joke. This is a legitimate, full-blown, successful product that you guys will really like and enjoy if you want to go to a game, a concert, or anywhere else that sells tickets.
RA, I've had a bunch of people DMing me for the promo code for this Game Time app. Obviously, I'm at TNT, not a big deal. I won't be going to games, but what is the promo code once again?
Biz, you download the Game Time app. You go to the account tab, you create a login, and you redeem the code Chiclets for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. But listen, man, I've been to so many events all over the place, and it's a pain in the ass, man. Yeah, well, sometimes you got to sneak in, but other times I have paid full freight with. And you know what? Sometimes you need a hookup. Sometimes it's got to be last minute. Dude, Game Time is the best. I'm telling you, no more waiting around for deadbeat scalpers out in front of the building, some shady cat, or I don't even going to name websites that might have ripped you off. Game Time hooks you up. Code Chiclets, $20 off your first one. Boom. See you at the playoffs. Was that right, boys?
Beauty. So we've just summarized. I think we did a pretty good job summarizing that Minnesota-St. Louis series. I mean, I don't mean to pump my own tires here, G, but what'd you think? Did we miss anything?
I think you guys hit it.
Well, the
nail
problem
in
is,
the head.
I hope people at home know is, we're watching every series, right? So it's like, if you're watching just one series, if you're just like diehard Blues fan, you're not even really watching that much other NHL, there's going to be a certain few things that we miss. But overall, we're just trying to hit on these main topic points with so much action. We got 4 games every single night. So
yeah, my wheels are spinning.
Yeah, 16 teams, 8 series, a lot going on, but we try to do what we can here.
Sick math.
How are you? Oilers Kings, boys. We got to upset. Dr.
Holy shit, do we look good? Biz, you're fucking panicking. You're panicking. You and your team look like shit. You have 3 goals in 3 games. We have about 17. We're playing against a team who gave up less goals than Dallas. More goals, maybe, actually. More goals. No, which one is it? Either way, it doesn't even fucking matter. Your team sucks. We're up 2-1. Sunday night tonight, we're going up 3-1. You can call them an AHL team. You can rip on the organization that gave you that final chance, that gave you that Calder Cup. You can be mean to their fans and their players alike. But we are playing against a better hockey team than Dallas, and we're fucking embarrassing them. And then on the other fucking side of the aisle, we got the Calgary Flames, who look like shit. And I'll tell you right now, Edmonton went on this run at the end of the year, and Mike Smith had the horrible game one and that brutal giveaway. He's looked amazing since. He's looked unreal. Oh, everyone's panicking. Deneau and Kopitar are going to shut down the Oilers. Nope. Because we also have a Vander Kane who has 5 goals already, who's buzzing around playing amazing hockey. Yamamoto's a force. He looks great. The Oilers, everything's clicking. Everything's coming together. My ear could not be safer. My body feels like I could still play the game. That's how fired up the Oilers have me. And there's probably times throughout the season that maybe I still could play on the Oilers blue line. I'm not trying to say it's the Red Wings with Lidstrom, Chelios, Konstantinov, fucking Fakitov, all these. Yeah. It's the Oilers blue line. But we have two of the best players, maybe of all time, in McDavid and Draisaitl, who are both buzzing. We have a team, LA, who's scared shitless of us, and we have a fan base that is ready to fucking explode when we play the Dallas Stars next round, and we watch you on TV with your stupid bald head up top.
All right, well, I think everybody listening can agree that Dallas is a better team than
Oh, really? Why?
I don't know.
Because the regular season it wasn't that way.
No shit. Well, they've turned it on. They look way better. It's not even close.
Or does Calgary look like shit?
No, I think Dallas is playing them hard. Let's go back to Edmonton. First of all, the arena guys at the Staples Center. What the fuck are you doing?
Oh, yeah. What the hell were they thinking, Base?
They wouldn't turn the lights on for them, and they kept the nets from them because I guess they were like 5 minutes early. Then they get them fired up, and then they go on with this onslaught. One guy you didn't even mention was Nuge. What do you have last?
But what did I say? Did I tweet Grinelli? He was going to have a huge bounce back game. I know this team like I know my hog with all the time I've spent holding my own hog. That's how well I know this team. I know my team like I knew my hog when I was 14 years old, the summer of like 99, whatever it was, 97. You know when you just know your hog as well as ever? That's how I know the Oilers, and I knew Nuge would come bouncing back. And the rink guys, let me talk to all these people online who are so stupid and never played the sport. They were all over me. I said, you're delaying the inevitable. Give them the nets. Let them skate. Let us kick your ass tonight, which happened. They're like, the ice isn't ready. You can't put nets on ice that hasn't dried yet. Yeah, you can. Give us the nets, turn the lights on, and get the fuck out of our way because we're going on to round 2, and you guys are going to be left holding your own hogs on Manhattan Beach.
Yeah, I know I pissed off a lot of LA fans by saying AHL team, and you mentioned they, gave me that last opportunity in order to win that Calder Cup. I'm not going to apologize, but if you didn't notice that I was trying to go for the reverse jinx, you're a fucking moron. Did I think that Edmonton was going to win the series? Yes. Did I need to go as deep as saying they're an AHL team and disrespect guys like Kopitar, Deneau, Quick, guys who have been there and done that and hoisted the cup twice? I'm sorry. I'm sorry to those guys, but I'm not sorry for trying to reverse jinx the Oilers, at least bringing it to 7 to exert some of their energy before going against the Flames. Now, to say that the Flames Dallas series, like, it's got me shook, dude. I couldn't even talk on the TNT broad.
You guys are in a lot of
that
trouble.
segment we had to do coming out of that game, I was shook. Buddy, did you see it? Did you watch it?
You actually
I couldn't talk.
You looked like you saw a ghost. The ghost of Peter Mansbys.
I got a question about Peter Mansbys. You're a little faded up on the sides. Like, I don't even think you're going to be able to do this.
Another thing. I heard your part in my take, buddy. It's a month. Just like my earring with the month. 1 week. What are you talking about? Go back to the tapes. It's a month.
Gee, I think I said 1 week for the Peter Mansbiz on the broadcast. Go back, find the clip. I don't think I agreed to a month. I think you said you were going to have the earring for a month. Whatever I said on the podcast, I will do. I'm a man of my word, and some of you people coming at me about
you were great on Pardon My Take, though.
Thank you. You didn't end up getting chopped. Guys, I consulted my doctor, and he said, this is a bad idea. So I gave you guys the Peter Mansbiz as a backup, and we are not looking good. So you will be able to laugh. All you people listening, especially you Rangers fans that I called fugazis, you guys can have your cake and eat it too with me on the broadcast looking like a fucking idiot. So I don't know if we want to go back at all, RA. What did you think so far, this LA Edmonton series? It's obviously, to me, it's done in 5. And I agree with you. I think they're going to go up 3-1. I think LA's done. The missing Doughty it's just too much. That's the only really chance they might have had at maybe putting up a fight in this one. Edmonton is rolling. They have their feng shui. The mental strength of Smitty, knowing that the fan base is questioning goaltending coming in the playoffs, regardless of the way he finished the series with, tell me that there wasn't a question mark of going back to Koskinen after he threw that pizza in the third period up the middle to cost them the game. And him having the mental fortitude to fucking shut it down and I don't think he allowed the goal the next 4 periods. And he has looked unbelievable. He looks like that Smitty that led my fucking Arizona Coyotes to the conference finals, and it's scaring the shit out of me if, in fact, we do get the Battle of Alberta. So shout out to Smitty. Shout out to the Oilers. Edmonton deserves this, at least to get to the second round, and I'm shaking in my boots. What do you got, RA?
Guys, the bet was Biz Nasty has to wear the Peter Mansbiz haircut for 1 week, and Whit has to do Barry Bonds earring for 1 month.
Well, why would I do it a month?
Because I'm on national fucking television. What are you talking about? And to go back to your statement. So I had a haircut planned to do the fade. I'm not. I will not get a haircut on the side here until the first round is over.
Keep an eye on that, Whit. Keep an eye on that, because that's going to be his out.
No, because that would mean...
No, if it goes to the Battle of Alberta, and in fact, the Flames turn this thing around and win the series, I will get another haircut, and then we'll reshuffle the deck. And then by the end of the second round, if in fact we do get the Battle of Alberta and Calgary does lose that series, I will then do the Peter Mansbiz.
Folks at home, let us know what you think. Your hair's so short on the side right now. If Calgary moves on, you can't cut your hair, dude. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's too short right now.
All right, it's going to go to you. So it would be a little bit longer than this, because we would have it would be a full 2 weeks. Let's say one round takes 2 weeks. This is about 8 days. Would this not be good enough on the sides and then a shaved top? Like, what are you talking about?
Just whatever you did before, Biz, just do that. You look like Bald Bull from Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. It's perfect. Like, I don't think it has to be too long or short on the sides.
Well, unless I get extensions, I can't. So I'll make it fine. Whit, I'll make you this.
Calgary wins,
I'm agreeing with you.
If Calgary wins, you can't get a cut till after the second round, which will either be Mansbiz or you'll get whatever you want. And I'll have an earring.
But then my hair grows fast. I'm going to look like I did on the first TNT broadcast.
You look great, dude. You have good long hair.
Buddy, go back. Pull up the picture for the people at home, the picture of my first broadcast. My hair looked horrendous. And then I got sprayed with the makeup paintball gun. I looked like a clown on national television. Go send him the picture right now, and I want to see Whit's reaction.
It was the makeup that did it, though. But then we showed you the real makeup fuck up of me when I was the orange man.
That's true. How about this? I wanted to have a clean cut for the second round going into the Battle of Alberta if we get it. I think we do it to a poll for the people at home. Keep in mind, I'm still going to look fucking stupid. So at least allow me to have a good haircut on national television for the second round if we do get the hockey gods come together and decide that we should get what we deserve in the hockey world, which is, of course, the Battle of
Alberta. Edmonton, what else did I have about them? Oh, if you go into the game 5 in Edmonton, probably looking to close that series out and move on to the second round with rest and rejuvenation and time, as it looks like Calgary, to win, that might have to go 7 now. Look for your boy, the Wit Dog, on the big screen, sending the Oilers faithful a big-time pump-up video.
I would be there if I could be there. I got a lot of stuff going on, but I'm going to be on that big screen getting you guys
You're going to be on the
because that's what you
Jumbotron.
did. You always pumped me up. You always supported me. You always cheered me on. I was one of your favorites.
I'm going to
just return the favor no matter what.
I'm going
to promise to take care of you.
I'm going to call this right now. The minute that video hits the Jumbotron, that team is going to tank harder than anything you've ever witnessed in your entire life. And I cannot wait for the demise of the Oilers once you do. Do it. Put them up. Hey,
if I did that and they were up 3-1 and then lost that game and lost 6-7, I still wouldn't be hated as much as when I was playing there.
Whoever the PR guy or the video Jumbotron guy is, put your fucking resume on LinkedIn. Because the minute that video hits, watch what happens, and you're going to have to go into the witness protection program.
Gadzik was our buddy Luke Gadzik he's there doing the alumni thing. He was chugging beer, so maybe I chugged some Pink Whitney. I don't know. I got to think about
now
this.
He's overthinking it.
No, I'm really not.
All right. What have you seen in the LA series? I know we've kind of interrupted you 20 times, but when you start the show with the Pink Whitney ad the way you did, I mean, come on.
Because he was watching a movie. He hasn't even watched the games.
Fuck that noise. No, you're the one who watches shit when we record, not me, motherfucker. To answer your question.
Oh, really? All right. Was that what you're going with?
Oh, it's Mr. Sensitive now, are we? Oh.
Okay, what do you
got? Was that comeback, all right? What was that?
Let me be a little sensitive.
No. I want to hear what you have to say about the Edmonton LA series. Give us a nugget that we haven't mentioned.
Honestly, the series, I don't think it's over yet. Jonathan Quick was pulled his last game, Biz. I think he's going to rebound in a big way tonight. I think LA ties it tonight, Sunday. Obviously, we'll make it at least go 6. LA is not done. Not done. They're not dead. I mean, there have a lot of people that didn't think they were going to make the playoffs this year. Mike Smith played great last game, but he was terrible the fucking game before that. I'm not sold on Edmonton.
No, he
I'm not
wasn't.
sold on the goaltenders. I think fucking LA can still steal this fucking series. I'm not just saying that because I got money on him. Jonathan Quick, again, anytime a number one goalie gets fucking yanked, he comes back the next game full of pride. They haven't started yet. I think they win tonight, make it go at least 6.
Actually, you know what? All right, I'm 50-50 now, and the reason I say that is because when something clicked in my brain, one of the better right to the point.
Fire department.
All right, I'm going to tend to agree with you here on maybe I'll go to 50-50, much like we've seen from these coaches' challenges on the goalies. I don't know if you guys heard Todd McClellan's post-game press conference after Game 3. I think he's giving Sutter a run for his money. Grinelli, roll the tape.
You know what? We can do this really quick tonight. I can summarize it all up for you. We can all go home. We weren't any good. We're really disappointed. We got trapped playing their game. You can ask me about individuals. I'll give you the same answer for all of them. They weren't any good. And we have to regroup tomorrow. Grunny didn't play because he had an injury. Anybody have anything else? Good night.
So, right to the point. He basically gave the whole breakdown quickly, asked any reporter, if you ask me about any player, I'm going to give you the exact same response. Anything else? Not one reporter asked a question, and he was out of the room in no time. Bill Belichick was getting jealous at how quick the fucking word count was on that post-game press conference, excuse me. So, Whit, I don't think you're shaking in your boots. I don't think you're scared. I think you think that the Edmonton Oilers are still going to rout the LA Kings, and I tend to agree with you.
I think Hyman, this is why you sign a guy like Zach Hyman, and he's looked phenomenal, as the entire team has. One game, 1 loss, no panic, boom. I didn't necessarily think it completely through when picking the Oilers this year in terms of the 10 o'clock Eastern starts. I mean, these, you're fired up watching the 7 o'clocks, and all of a sudden you got to just rebound. And then the second intermission of the West Coast game, luckily for us, the games are fucking over by the second period. So I can just put my ZZ.
The only reason you brought up saying that
app
was to say that joke. The only reason you brought that up was to say that.
No, swear to God, I've been very tired, but we've been able to just roll through in games.
Way to go. Way to battle through the adversity.
Games 2 and 3. It's just been. It's over.
Yeah, he's the projected starter tonight, Biz. So
all right, thank you, sir.
C'est la vie. Well, hey, listen, Biz. If you're a business owner who's hiring, you probably face a lot of challenges when it comes to finding the right person for your role, especially somebody like you who knows what kind of roles you're putting out there. That's why hiring can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. When you post a job on ZipRecruiter, their matching technology finds these qualified candidates for you and invites them to apply. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. No wonder ZipRecruiter is the #1 rated hiring site in the U.S. based on G2 ratings. Biz, have you hired anybody lately?
We have as a podcast. Gee, do you want to mention it?
Yes, we just hired a new video editor. His name is Elliot Fish. We're very excited to add him to the team.
Oh, the fish man. I love it. Elliot, welcome aboard.
Canada boy, too, from Toronto.
Oh, can't get enough.
Sorry to hear
guys.
that.
So while other companies give you too many options, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at this web address, ZipRecruiter.com/SC. That's ZipRecruiter.com/SC.
Hey, there's one thing that LA will win, and it's a player with the best tan in the league. Alex Iafallo has to have the best tan.
He came out of the womb with a tan, I think. That guy, I don't even think he needs to be in the sun. He's just got that beautiful olive dark skin.
Yeah, he's like the next coming of Chelios. Maybe he lives in the sauna too. Maybe that's how it's
He rides the bike in the sauna like the.
Any other tans stick out?
You on TNT, there's no way you're not spray tanning.
No, they do.
You look dark right now.
Well, okay, so I went hiking a few times before I left Arizona. So if I spend a day in the sun, I get dark. Obviously, being a quarter black, I think it just kind of flips the switch. But
is that a flavor saver you got going?
No, it's the shadow.
I
look like I'm in a holding cell right now. I got to bring this light back over. There we go. No, they tend to douse me with a little bit of makeup. So I try to make sure I tell them, hey, ease off a little bit because I do look a little bit silly.
No, I thought you looked handsome, Biz. I thought you looked fantastic. Yeah, you look great.
I've had a few people tweet me and go easy on the icing cupcake. So I'll take that as a compliment, and I'll tell them to keep doing what they've been doing it.
In typical Chiclets fashion, we did not mention our guest. We're not going to bring on right this minute, but after this segment, we will. Nick Foligno, Boston Bruins forward, who signed there as a free agent in the offseason. We had a nice chat with him. We've had his brother on, Marcus, a couple times, so we'll bring him on in a little bit. But first, we're going to talk about that series, Whit. The Bruins, they look like they were dead man walking down 2-0. I said they're not going to win the cup this year. This looks like the end of an era. Well, boom, they come home, rattle off 2 in a row, tie the series up. What's your take on it, Whit Dog?
The tale of two cities, right? That's a famous book. No, it was the best of times. It was the worst of times. For
Charles
Bruins
Pickens,
fans right now, you're buzzing. Brad Marchand, who had one of maybe 2 of his worst playoff games ever in game 1 and 2, just 5 points this afternoon on Mother's Day, rockets up to the league lead in points in the playoffs with 9, scored a beauty of a snipe in the third period. The Bruins go on to tie this thing up. And I got to shout out my buddy Chris Wagner. They fucking buried Chris Wagner in the minors all season long. And he was down in Providence being a pro, getting his paycheck, no escrow, which is always nice. And what happens? They looked like the softest Bruins team I've ever seen in games 1 and 2, getting run out of the building in Carolina. And they make a lineup switch, and they've looked different. Oh, yeah. Let's just say it. I mean, obviously, Wags is playing on the 4th line, and you got Bergeron playing through the stitches he had to get in his eye, and Marchand, like I mentioned, Pasta stepping his game up. But to get that physicality and to get a guy to go out there and to try to decapitate somebody, that changes the vibe of a team. And when I watch the Bruins team in games 1 and 2, I mean, Grinelli and already the Bruins fans of the pod, you guys must have been sick to your stomach. I don't even know what I was looking at. I don't even know what I was watching. I was playing golf with a guy who's not even a hockey fan. He says, what is going on? They're not even like hitting or pushing anyone. It's like I usually watch them in the playoffs. They're always beating everyone up. I said, it's a different time. It's a different era. And this is a different Bruins team, but they switched things up. And I think I've seen basically what worried me about the Hurricanes and what had their fans coming at me is like, it's a team without a Brad Marchand. Yep. It's a team without David Pastrnak. And this series is far from over, and Carolina could easily go on to win this series, but they're not winning the cup either. Let's be honest here. They're not. I mean, it sucks that Anderson's out, and Ranta's played, and then he's hurt, and they got this. What's his name again?
Pitor.
Yeah, very tough last name to say. Brindamore, furious in both games in Boston, huh? Looking pissed off today. He was snapping. I know he was really upset about the one call. I just see this series switching because Boston got back to its roots. They got back to running around. They got back to drawing penalties. They got back to pissing teams off that they played against. So, I know you're hot with the bets. I don't know what you see, but I'm seeing Marchand up his game and show that he's the best player on either team, and that's the game changer through 4 games, even though it's just 2-2 in the series.
Just one guy I really want to shout out real quick, Derek Forbert. I mean, this guy's a brick wall out there. He had 9 blocks. He had 9 block shots in game 3. I mean, he's setting the tone out there. And after game 2, I was texting all my buddies, like, this guy can't skate. He got walked in game 2. Like, he looks terrible out there. And then game 3 and 4, he's one of the best defensemen on the ice. So he's looked incredible out there.
Hey, and he had to be too, because some shitty news before game 4 with McAvoy not being able to play because he was put in COVID protocol. Guys, I play with Derek Forbert. He helped me win a Calder Cup. Shot blocking machine. Excellent penalty killer, great stick. I'm glad you Bruins fans are coming around on him, or at least UG. I just wanted to go back to Brad Marchand and maybe even sympathize for you Carolina Hurricanes fans. Him going after Pitor in game 2 and pulling off the rat move that he did. I can understand why every other fan base hates his guts, but all he was doing was getting himself back in the series to head back home to Boston in order to put on the display he has in game 3s and 4. Now, we got the game 3 on the TNT broadcast. What's he do? He asked the PR guy, he goes, I want the pregame interview. You know how many goals he scored on the TNT broadcast this year? He scored 6 in the 5 games we did all season long.
No way.
He is Mr. TNT, and every time he has been our interview before the game. He had 2 shit games in Carolina, and he goes, I want to get going, put me on the main stage, does the interview, and then goes out and has the game that he did. I'll tell you what, man, hate him as much as you want, hockey fans. This guy's got the fucking jam. He has the jam.
And amazing that Swayman didn't start game 2.
Oh, seriously.
What the hell were they thinking?
Well, he looks good now, and he's
what
dancing
game did I
in that
text you
crease.
guys after was it game 2? I think I texted you after the first period. Like, Lindholm's not. I mean, what's his name? Linus isn't doing nothing wrong, but the team sunk. Ullmark. I'm like, they need his fucking spot here, but they finally put him in. Gee, what do you got?
I kind of agree with the move to not start him game 2. Like, to go in on the road in Carolina with that crowd, it gets loud in there. Like, he's never started a playoff game before. That's not the place you want to start the guy in his first playoff game ever. Let's let him go back home, let him get comfortable, and the move clearly worked out.
Wow.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
That's a great point.
Your point's great.
That's a great point.
But my thought, G, is start him where, in a sense, you're not at home and the pressure isn't as crazy. And then if he plays great, awesome. Even if you lose, you can go back to him at home, and he's already got a playoff game under his belt, and he plays great. And if he plays bad and loses, you can go back to Ullmark game 3 at home.
Yeah, but if he gets
I think this series could be 3-1 Boston if they started him game 2.
But I tend to agree with you though, because listen, these goalie situations and balancing the 2 goalies it puts me in a mind pretzel every time. I think every time we've talked about it on the podcast, I would have made the wrong decision and cost my team the series as a head coach. But you're saying is, go back to Ullmark, the experienced goalie. If he gets lit up, you can always go back to Swayman. But if Swayman gets lit up, it's like, now I got 2 guys with no confidence, where it's like, yo, Swayman, you're down 0-2 going home. There's really not that much pressure because they kind of handed you a shit sandwich to begin with. Now you got this young stud. And hey, maybe it's a reverse Hurricanes. Remember when fucking Cam Ward got the net at an early age and he ended up going on this fucking insane run to lead him to the finals? Who knows?
Cup.
Who knows? You got the Swayman, Terry Crews titty bouncing going on, the pregame videos, like where they put him. He's got no shirt on. You know, the boys are having some chuckles. This guy is playing as loose as any guy in the lineup. And for being a rookie, completely commend him. And gee, I think you balanced the goalie situation perfectly. To go to Carolina, excellent first 2 games. Obviously, we talked about the Bruins power play being absolute dog shit. That has also taken a 180, much like the series. We didn't really go into the Rob Brindamore snap show. Much like we'll get to Gallant later, he's fiery, and I love it, and I always think that your team really takes on the personality of the head coach. He did come a little bit unhinged after that goalie interference call, and kind of like the one between Nashville and Colorado, it was a big shift in momentum because he got it wrong, and then they ended up scoring on that next PP. I texted Koharski because from the overhead angle, it did look like the Boston Bruins guy jammed Ronta's pad. So I thought it was going to come back, but I
thought that one too was coming back.
Yeah, but I texted Coho and he goes, no, from the other angle, you could see that it's actually, in fact, the Carolina. And listen, you people at home.
Coho had a tough one the other night.
Coho. He's been good this playoff. He was the Conn Smythe leader, in my opinion.
It was just the Lehkonen one that was hilarious.
Hey, but it was
this thing.
Yeah, but hey, so he said that it was the Carolina guys who jammed Ronta's pad, so that's why it ended up being a goal. But another guy who's coming a bit unhinged, and the reason I brought up, you always take on the identity of your coach a little bit. I think Marchand's got D'Angelo shook. He was barking some pretty nasty shit at him. I think anybody who was watching the game could read his lips. Who else was watching that? All right, did you guys watch the game? Grinelli, did you see what he was mouthing?
No, fuck yeah. And yeah, Twitter, of course, was breaking down the lip reading. I'm not much of a lip reader. People were saying that he was calling him a racist, saying something about Twitter. I don't know. I have no idea. I can't read lips, but if you're going to say something to a guy, that's the fucking number one thing you go to, I guess, with a guy like that.
Buddy, Marchand does his homework. He knows what's going on. He probably knows every guy's wife's name in the league, where they went to high school, who they used to
hand or hand.
I bet you Marchand's probably one of those guys where he cuts deep. And as we're seeing it here, completely going after D'Angelo for the Twitter stuff. Hey, listen, I was never a guy to cut deep. I might have done it 2 times, and I regretted it afterward. But D'Angelo, after that, he was throwing punches in the scrum, and as I mentioned, definitely through the harpoon.
I saw people tweeting like he just threw his stick at a player.
There she blows.
That's the only couple things I want to touch on for Carolina. They are going home way better on home ice, and at least Carolina can go back to a settling environment, because the Garden looked like it was rocking. And speaking of rocking, they almost fucking killed one of their own in the penalty box. Bunch of glass bangers.
Yeah, we want to send our best wishes to Joe Foley. He's the off-ice official who was injured during Game 2. A pane of glass fell down on him and had to get taken off on an ambulance. I guess he's doing okay, but Joe, hopefully you're feeling well. I know those off-ice guys, we don't hear much about them, but that's a job that a lot of people don't even know about. We see the 2 refs and the 2 linesmen, but there's 7, 8, 10 guys who are on every top floor, every building, down in the penalty box, in the booth. That that's a full-time job. They bust their ass. They do a lot of hard work. They keep all the stats. So kudos to all those guys. And like I said, hopefully Joe's doing all right. The goalie, I think it's Pyotr Kochetkov. How you say it? Is it Peter? Pyotr.
No, it's
Pyotr Kochetkov. Also, Biz, you talked about Trent Frederick a bunch. Well, he didn't start the last game. He had a bad penalty. Coach wasn't too happy with him. Fucking pulled him out. What was your take on that, Paul?
No, I mean, a bad hot take for me here. Color me shocked. Like, what do you want?
Just following up, because I know you mentioned him prior to this year.
Yeah, I took a stab at a few guys who I thought were going to elevate their game and be there. Come the tougher games with the physicality and where you alluded to it. You got Bruins fans on the golf course saying, like, where the fuck were they? Like, they're like, hey, it's one thing to lose, but to lose in that fashion,
this is how they're going down.
That's one guy I'm looking at where I'm saying this guy should be running around with his chicken, with a chicken with his head cut off, fucking murdering guys, and he didn't do his job. And why they ended up going to a guy with maybe a little bit more experience, a guy who dealt with adversity all year, collecting paychecks, no escrow in the minors, and Wagner. So, hey, great adjustment by Cassidy to understand that. Great job by the Bruins. We already mentioned the fact that who else did they lose other than McAvoy on the back end?
Lindholm. And that's why I wanted to mention, the Bruins are the recent 2 games in a row winner, but the 2 games in Carolina, you got to shut out the Hurricanes. And I know I've had my issues with them, but Svechnikov, that hit on Lindholm, textbook. Holy shit, what a hockey hit. That Svechnikov plays with an edge, man. That guy could play it. He is a hell of a hockey player. He's pissed off. He's big. He's angry. He's got skill. And Lindholm, wow. I mean, is there any update in terms of when he could come back? Has anyone read anything, RA, or no?
Nothing. I mean, they've been given really no update whatsoever. G, have you heard anything?
Day to day right now.
Yeah. So he was pretty fucked up. You could tell. I mean, definitely concussed the way he was kind of baby deering it on the ice. But I don't know now with the COVID. What is the protocol? Can McAvoy now not play for 5 days? Do we know that?
Well, Fluto Shinzawa from the Boston Globe tweeted out that if a player tests positive, they have to quarantine for 4 or 5 days. But we don't know that he tested positive. He was in the protocol. We don't know if he was close to somebody. I know the assumption is he did test positive, and he must have bad symptoms for them to even have to test them. So we're gonna have to wait and see. We don't know that he definitively tested positive, so we can't say he's going to be quarantined. What do you got, Biz?
So I know I'm going to sound like a Bruins homer. I picked them to win the series, guys. I've kind of like adopted them as my 8th team just because of you guys.
18th.
They got completely fucked in, which is, in my opinion, one of the best and worst rules in the NHL rule book. The referee on the ice has the ability to call a 5-minute major so he can review a play to see if a player will get kicked out or not. Clifton ends up hitting, I forget who he got, but the guy turned his back last second and he ended up hitting his head on the glass and he cut his nose. So the referee, which he should have, calls the 5 so he can review it. But when you do that, you always have to at least give him a penalty. So if you rescind it, the guy will get a 2-minute minor for what the original call was. He just has to sit for 2. He doesn't get the toss. Clifton goes in, lowers his body, goes to deliver a shoulder-to-shoulder hit. The Carolina player turns his back last second, and as a result, and keep in mind, he hit him square in the back area in which he would have hit his shoulder because the Carolina player turned. He injures himself on the nose and bleeds because he turned. Clifton had to sit for 2. That was in game 3. I believe at that point it was a 3-1 game. Buddy, if they score on that power play and they're back in the game because it's a stupid fucking rule, it's absolute bullshit. You got the ability to watch the play to see that he didn't, in fact, do anything illegal. But because you wanted to watch it, you now have to automatically give him a 2-minute minor. Tell me that's not a stupid rule.
Yeah, if you can rescind the 5, rescind the whole thing.
The whole thing. Hey, regular season, maybe not, okay? And people would probably say, no, if you're going to change the rule, change the rule. In a playoff situation, what if that's a 1-goal game and that legal hit in which the player from Carolina gets injured because his own turning could cost them the game? It's bullshit. Change the fucking rule. I even talked to Coho about it, and he says, I agree. I don't like that rule. Figure it out. Change the rule. Dumbest rule, but I like that the fact, because in real time, it's very difficult for these refs to know whether the guy caught him high. They should have the ability. And I think that rule changed because of the situation that happened between the Vegas Golden Knights and the San Jose when Pavelski went down, and then they got the 5. And then they scored 3 in that 5-minute major and then won the game in overtime to push it to 6 games, or I think it might have even gone to 7. So I know I've talked enough and bitched about this call, but many of you saw it. They should change that rule, and it should be changed for next season.
Yeah, it shouldn't go from a 5 to a 2, because if they find out there was no penalty whatsoever, then you're still fucking tagging the guy with a 2 if nothing happens. So
exactly what I just said.
I know. I'm just Whit. When Wags went in on that partial breakaway, ESPN or ABC never showed a replay. Did you think he might have should have gotten a penalty shot there, or was it a clean defensive play, or did you see a replay or what?
I actually missed that, and I got to be honest. When I woke up this morning and said, "Happy Mother's Day, sweetie," I got to record at 6, and I have to watch the Bruins at 12:30. It wasn't exactly met with like thrilled-em. Is that a word? So I didn't catch every second of the game today, but I did catch the second and third period. I don't know when that happened. I was running. You're trying to be a good dad on Mother's Day, so watching hockey all day and then working when it's bedtime is always a kick in the pussy for the mom.
All right, the way they've been calling
penalty
shots, throughout the playoffs, that should have been a penalty shot.
Well, that's why I go back to the Brodin on what's his name, Barbashev. Like, I mean, that was a stick lift. It was a nice fucking defensive play. They give a penalty shot, and then Wagner, from like the one view I saw, which is real time, I didn't see it slow down. It could have been a nice defensive play, but again, we didn't get a fucking replay from ESPN. But I'm like, well, if that was their fucking penalty shot the other night, this guy didn't even get a shot off here. So. What's that, Whit?
So I sent out a tweet that's gotten a lot of traction. What is going on with this behind the net camera from ESPN?
It doesn't.
Holy shit, guys!
It doesn't bother me as much as it bothers you. And then somebody.
It bothers like everyone except.
I hate it.
You're the only person I think that doesn't mind it.
I think Thomas Drance, a writer for The Athletic out of Vancouver, mentioned underneath. He says, I typically don't like it, but he liked it on the 5-on-3 in which you might have mentioned the actual fact that they were doing that camera behind the net.
I saw this. I like the idea of the camera behind the blue line.
Oh, on the other side.
So if you could ever get it.
So you would maybe drop the camera from the Jumbotron?
Yeah, like I don't know how to do that. I know the NFL, you see that camera that kind of flies along the field. Now it's different in hockey, no matter obviously, but maybe if you got the behind the view, so you're almost looking at like the power play quarterbacks looking at it. I don't know. For some reason, it was just really hard to kind of track it, and I don't enjoy the behind the net camera right now. I really don't.
At one point, they did have a camera also. I don't know if it was on the red line or the blue line, and it had that like 45-degree angle towards the net. I don't know how people felt about that one. From my understanding, the league has spent money to try to develop software and camera angles in order to like capture the game in better angles. But I think that like the what they end up coming to as a conclusion is the traditional way is just the way that people like it. And that's really the only way that you can do it to make it look good, which is just, up top from the deck, right? Is there any other camera angles that you do like?
I like the normal camera angle.
That's it. So, okay. All right.
When they do the Winter Classics, it's cool because they have that camera, that NFL camera.
They have the headspace.
Yeah, and you can see the power play from behind like that. So that would be my only suggestion.
I think if they haven't done enough of it, I said it was from my understanding, they should go to schools that do that type of thing and make them do it as like I don't know. What do you do?
Pasha teaches a course, right?
No. Yeah, he's just, the drone course flying into trees during the sandbaggers. What would it be called when you go do it at like a college or something? What's the word for that when you go test something, like a case study?
Case study would be a great definition there, Biz.
Buzzing today, not my flames, but I'm buzzing. Are we done with talking about shitty camera angles?
Biz, what kind of like camera angles do you like in your smut films? Is there a preferred like POV you like in porn?
No, I bounce around.
Okay.
That was a very random question.
Well, yeah, very random, but it's
let me look through my history while you tee up the next ad read.
You know what,
let's
boys?
go to our boy Foligno. That was a great interview.
Yeah,
exactly. That's exactly what we're going to do right now, Ryan Whitney. But first, we're going to let you know that this interview is brought to you by our friends at Cross Country Mortgage. When you're buying a home, it can feel like you're skating on thin ice, well, like me on double runners. There's 1,000 things that can go wrong, so you need a team that will help you navigate the home buying process. Listen, man, I did it years ago. It is a pain in the ass buying a house. There's so much stuff you don't know. That's why Cross Country Mortgage is the best to deal with. They walk you through everything. There are no dumb questions. You do feel stupid sometimes asking questions buying a house. Not with Cross Country. They're the best. They have an average close time of 21 days, which is ridiculously fast for the industry. They got a wide variety of loan types, which means they got everything to cover everyone. And they have some exciting news. They're giving away free Barstool and Cross Country Mortgage sweatshirts when you sign up to refi or get pre-approval while supplies last. So go with Cross Country Mortgage. You'll experience what it's like to skate on fresh ice. Right now, go to ccm.com/Barstool so Cross Country Mortgage can take care of you through the home buying process or the refinancing process. Cross Country Mortgage, LLC, NMLS 3029. All loans subject to underwriting approval, www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. And now enjoy Nick Foligno. We're happy to welcome our next guest to the show. Taken 28th overall by the Senators at the 2006 draft, this left wing spent his first 5 seasons in Ottawa before moving on to Columbus for 9 seasons, serving as the team captain there for 6 of them. He had a quick pit stop in Toronto last year before signing with the Bruins over the summer, and he and his dad, Mike, are one of just 2 father-son combos in NHL history to each play at least 1,000 games. Thanks so much for joining us on the Spittin Chiclets podcast. Nick Foligno, how's it going, brother?
Good. Thanks for the intro. I'm good. Nice to be here finally. The better Foligno's on the interview here. Just said finally.
Folks at home, we took some heat. We didn't bring in the older brother first. That's a rookie move on the Chiclets boys' part.
That hurt. But it's good. Marcus needed it. It's good for his confidence.
You guys used to pummel each other when you were kids, or was the age difference too much?
No, that's the thing. I mean, you saw the size of him. He probably didn't even fit in the screen when you guys were talking to him. I forget. Like, even as his brother, I forget he was 4 years younger than me. So definitely used to pound on him. It was good for my confidence. And then, there was finally a moment where his punch hurt a little bit more than mine did, I think. And so we stopped. But I mean, it went on for a long time. I think Marcus might have told you guys, we shared a room till I was like just married.
No.
Yeah. That's just the way we were. I didn't know any different. So I remember like just getting married that summer. And I think it's like, we did the Italian, you can't live together till you get married, even though we were living together while I was playing in Ottawa, and then, so yeah, we lived together, and the fights would still go on. And it was pretty fun growing up. I'm lucky. We're really close, even though the age gap is 4 years. I consider him my best friend. He's a guy that I've, leaned on. We've leaned on each other, and now seeing him where he's in his career, it's pretty awesome.
I don't know if you mentioned it, but was he the best man at the wedding?
Yeah. He roasted me pretty good too.
Did he?
Which was dumb because he knew I was coming with his wedding. So I don't know why he would have ever done that, but it was pretty funny. He started off the wedding with like a heartfelt message. He like had it all written down. He's kind of like shaking too. And I was like, what the hell is he doing? And he's like, Nick, you're like the most amazing brother I've ever had. And I can't thank you. And he's like, Nick, I can't read your handwriting. This shit sucks. He throws it to the side. And he's like, all right. And then he just lays into me for like 20 minutes. It was pretty good.
He had the acting down too, eh? With the fake shakes.
He could be an actor too, based looking at him.
Kind of breaking down,
He's like Chris Hemsworth. What happened to you?
Yeah, I had peaked in high school. I had a stick. You see my draft photo? It was beautiful head of hair.
He got the hair. You got the huge wrench.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, when did you know to go to the wood? Because
the Italian hit me in the waist down. Marcus is all.
I got the Irish everywhere. I got the big ears and the small pricks.
Let's just turn this into a Marcus roast. 45 minutes just carving him.
That's why I came on here, guys. I didn't have any other issues. Oh man, but he got the height, and my mom babied him a lot longer, so he got fed a lot more than we did, my sisters and I. So no, it was good though. He did a good job at the wedding, but I was able to get him back, so it was nice.
I mean, you guys can have a Canada USA fight too, because he represents Canada internationally, and you represent the US. What's that all about? That's
still one of the funnier things in our family, and I think honestly, like my extended family is all Canadian, so they actually like love him more. Honestly, it's just pretty comical. Just with, so he like we moved obviously with my dad playing. We moved around a lot. We were in the States a ton when I was growing up, so I felt American. I was American. Right? That's where I was raised. That's where I played my hockey. And Marcus, when we moved back because my mom got sick to Sudbury, he was 10 at the time, or 10 or 11 or 12 around there. So his majority of his minor hockey was played in Canada. And so I think he just felt, first of all, USA never came knocking, and, he made the world junior team with Canada. So it seemed right, but it's kind of funny. Brothers, obviously dual citizens, but we both represent different countries, and just kind of sums up our careers. Like we've never been able to play together at all throughout, and always battle again. Always like he had to play against me growing up. We never played on the same team. Even street hockey was like always Marcus versus me and our buddies. And so it's kind of funny how it's played out. But definitely weird. But I think my family honestly cheers for him way more than obviously me, which is pathetic.
You're like, what the fuck, guys?
Yeah, literally.
You just had a minute when you're on the Leafs when they're like, all right, we'll go for Nick.
He does American Thanksgiving by himself.
I did. I converted my wife, thank God. But it's hilarious. Like literally, I remember like when I played for the Leafs, everyone was so happy, right? Just you're fun. Like, all these buddies come out of the woodwork, and, even with Ottawa, it wasn't even that much, but the Leafs is like Canada's team, right? So, and then Marcus now that I'm away from them, it's back to Marcus. Everyone's cheering for Marcus.
So before you went to the national program at 17, you were playing in Pennsylvania?
Yeah. It was a really weird situation. So my dad was playing or coaching the Hershey Bears.
Oh, okay.
And hockey just wasn't, we had high school hockey, which was a blast. I actually got to experience high school hockey, which was really fun. There was a pretty good high school hockey league in Hershey, just to play in front of friends. And I never really had that, traveling. But then it was hard. Like, there was no real, I hate to say, it sounds weird to say, there's no real competition after that. I was 14 and I was, nowhere to play. So I actually played for this junior B league, Metropolitan Junior Hockey League. It was wild. I was 14 playing against 19-year-olds, getting my ass kicked. But it was Central Penn Panthers, we were called. And I traveled like 40 minutes with a guy that was in my hometown. We played in the same team together. And it was great, though. And honestly, it got me found by the U.S. program. But to be honest with you, I don't think I would have ever been found by them. They ended up being at a tournament that they were playing a team at, the under-17 team the year before. So Mo Mantha was the coach at the time. For the U.S. team. So
I had Mo in Saginaw.
Yeah.
Would he not tie his skates much when he went on the ice? They'd basically be completely untied.
Oh,
like Ribeiro.
He was coaching the 18s when I got there, and I was like, couldn't believe that his legs were kind of giving out. He would snap all the time too.
Oh yeah, he had a quick wick, as Walsh would say. But
he's actually just from outside Sturgeon Falls area, I think, outside Sudbury. Right? He's a Canadian guy that was coaching the U.S. team. It was kind of weird.
I think he played just over 700 games in the show. And I want to say I've told this story in the podcast before, but he told me that in the midst of an NHL game, because of how loose he used to tie his skates, when he was rounding the net one time, it got caught and his fucking boot came off in an NHL game. I'd have to see video to believe it.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
He's a quirky guy, man. I'll tell you that.
Some of the old school stories, though, those guys back then, it's almost, you have to believe it. Things they say is like, there's no way it's not true with how outrageous it is. So, crazy guys.
Would your old man share a lot of those stories with you guys as you progressed in age when you'd be taking these long drives? Like, would you try to get some of them out of them? And as you got older, would you finally get some of the wild ones?
Yeah. There was, as we got older and more mature, definitely he started to delve into a couple. Some of them were like, we don't want to know. Don't just stop at that moment.
Like, Dad, stop it right now.
Yeah.
You're my dad.
So we were on the road. I'm like, I don't know. No. And, but it was just so funny, the stuff they got away with. Like it just boggles my mind. And just the cult, like, one guy, they used to shave guys' heads, and I'm not going to tell the story right because it's the guy's name, but they used to shave guys' heads, and the one guy just didn't take to it well. Like, it affected him. And I guess they called in a bunch of the guys, were like, hey, listen, you got to buy this guy a wig. Like, you got to get his hair back, and like, so the guys had to put money together to get this guy a wig. This was in Detroit, I believe. And the best part is, like, now they're pissed. Now they're mad at the guy, as the story tells me. And like, they're on the plane, and back then you could smoke on planes. And they're trying to light this guy's wig on fire just to, like, get back at him, And this guy, then he doesn't end up wearing the wig. Now they're pissed at him that he's not wearing the wig, just shit like that. I'm like, what kind of league were you playing in, So
the Federal League.
Yeah, literally. So it's pretty funny. But I mean, I think they had more of those opportunities because they stayed over, they flew commercial, like they do the fishing line with the dollar in the airport kind of stuff that you hear about.
Yeah.
They used to do that, like, it just, you're like, wow, I can't imagine with no phones, with no anything, like the childishness that would go on in that league. And it must have been a blast. Had to have been a blast.
He had to have been pranked about 20 times with that dome he was wearing. They were fucking around.
Nothing beats a good rub.
Brutal. That might go down as one of the worst Buckies of all time.
It's so I'm taking it. That's why I never see me wear it. Only wear it when we're drunk around Sudbury and running around the house. The best part is, like, he told me one time he took it off. He's like, I tried on a different helmet. That game, concussion. He's like, never again am I taking this helmet off. And sure enough, I will give it to him. I said this before. It is unbelievably comfortable. Like, unbelievably comfortable. I can see why they wore it. I mean, it's ugly, but it had to be that comfortable to wear it. So I give him credit.
Screw the cologne with Draisaitl. We should re-release this bucket. What brand is the bucket?
I think it's a Northland, right? Northland.
So it must be out.
Yeah, they made the Oilers' old arena and they made helmets, and that was it. Now the company's out of business.
They failed twice. They're like, we're done.
Oh man, that's good.
Hey, I'm just looking, like, going back younger. We're talking about the program, but I mean, Phil Kessel's 35 now, and he's a cartoon character. So what was 18-year-old Phil Kessel like? That must have been a shit show.
Phil is my favorite because, like, when I went to that program, you know what it's like. You go there, and it's just you pretty much are gelling 20 egos, the biggest egos,
and you're in shock too.
Oh, and it's just like, you're working out every day, which you've never done. You're miserable. You hate, and so you get all these guys in the room, and you still got that. Like, I played when it was still like Boston guys hated Minnesota guys, and like I didn't even have a home. I was just a nomad, so I didn't know who to hang out with. I was like good friends with a Boston guy and we ended up being like close because I like helped bring them together. Ryan Stoa and Jason Lawrence were like my two buddies at the time, and but Phil was hilarious because like just God-given talent, and obviously I didn't know. I'll be the first one to tell you, I didn't know about anybody going to that program. I didn't know. I played in Central Pennsylvania. Like I didn't know who the best players in the country were. I remember going to that tryout, and I remember leaving with my mom laughing. I'm like, I'm never making that team. I'm in over my head. Not a chance. Those guys were flying, and sure enough, I get the call and go. But I remember just Phil would just made me laugh because we have to work out every day, right? And Phil, he was just a God-given talent. And honestly, he's a pretty strong guy. One thing people don't know about him, like, there's jokes. Like, he's actually lower body-wise. Like, he would throw up some serious weight. But, like, when we had to go do runs and stuff, he would be like, we'd do a mile run to warm up or whatever, and he'd be like hiding and then like jump out at the end to come into the or we had to do boxing. Did you guys ever do boxing with Kurt?
Dude, we did boxing. Barry Talixon, I've told this story, big Minnesota kid. We would go in, like we'd be going like this because we both were such pussies. And then the guy, was it Kurt? Was Kurt still there?
Yeah, Kurt.
And he goes, Talixon, get the fuck out. He's like, Matt Green, get in there, beat the piss out of Whitney. And he'd be like,
Kurt would bring one of his Golden Glove boxers to come.
Yes.
Oh man. So we were all petrified, right? This kid is unbelievable. And anyway, Phil would be in there and like half-ass boxing. And then he'd be like, George, get in there and fight. And then Phil would just start running around the ring so the guy wouldn't be able to hit him. We're like dying laughing and hoping to God we don't get in there. But great group of guys. That was such an education for me, playing with guys like him, even Jack Johnson, who was like the stud at the time too. And, and just, that was such a cool program. I'm really glad I did it. I remember hating it, honestly, at first, because I'd never been pushed that hard in my life.
Same here.
But by the end, I loved it. And I probably would have never left had my mom not gotten sick. I would have stayed for my 18 year, but I had to go home, and I'm glad I did that. But, I love the group, and Phil was obviously a guy that ran, and even Nathan Gerby was another guy that was a stud back then. It was like him and Phil were our best players by far, and they were fun to watch.
Nick, because of your dad and hanging around locker rooms as a young kid, were you sort of already well versed in how to behave as a pro, even as a teenager?
Yes and no. I think that kind of hurt me a little bit too when I first came in the league, because I definitely did. And I obviously watched, and, I think I learned more. I used to be like the stick boy for the Hershey Bears. So that's kind of where I got my, like, as a young kid, you're just, you just want to hang out with dad. So you go to practice and sit there. And I remember like everybody in Toronto not hated, but just Pat Burns was known as a hard coach. Right. But meanwhile, I remember sitting in Pat Burns' office, like he'd have candy on his desk, and we'd be hanging out, and I'd be talking to him. And I'm like, this guy's not so bad. Like, why does everyone hate this guy? So I didn't realize, though, that was in 93. I was 6 years old. How lucky I was, right? But I think as I got older, and then I was starting to really watch players, I got lucky enough. My dad was able to be assistant coach for the Avalanche, and that's when that was an absolute wagon of a team, right? Like, they were Peter Forsberg, Joe Sakic, Rob Blake. That was when Ray Bourque showed up too in 2000. So I got to be around and like just watch these guys, and I just remember just sitting there and just, like I got to know like their nuances, like how they get off the ice and I was just a sponge, and I don't even think I really realized. I fell in love with the game that way, right? So that was really neat. But as far as like being a pro, I think that's where I say like sometimes it hurts you because you still don't know what the hell you're doing when you come to the NHL. You just don't, And I was just this happy-go-lucky kid at 19 years old, making the Ottawa Senators. They just went to the finals before, and sometimes you're like, oh, it's your dad played. You should kind of, and it's like, no, I don't know. But I will say, like, lucky for me, I had some really good guys in that Ottawa room that I leaned on. I had like Wade Redden and Mike Fisher and Alfredson and even Jason Spezza. Like, he was really great for me. So I was lucky, but there's sometimes it hurt me even with the coaches. They'd be like, oh, you should know better. I'm like, I've never made that play in my life. What are you talking about? I should know better. I remember John Paddock one time. I made a turnover in my first year, and he comes down the bench and he goes, "What would your dad say to that?" And I was like, "What? What?" Like, in my head, obviously I'm not going to say that, but I'm like, what does he have to do with anything? When would he have told me that, hey, don't try to sauce it because Yager's going to bat it down. Don't do that, But, so it was neat how, I think I got obviously an education of what the league would be like, or pros, but their nuances and, how to do things around the room. But as far as like the league, you just got to learn by trial by fire. Everyone does, no matter how prepared you might be.
Was your old man always like very persistent about the work ethic and like wanted you to make it as a hockey player? Or was it just one of those things where you were like, no, I don't need to be pushed. This is something that I want, where you were kind of driving your own bus? Yeah,
both. I was lucky. He was really good about being a father when I was younger and just letting me fall in love with the game on my own. And then I think once he saw that I was becoming better at it and, starting to make travel teams and now you're getting to that age where it's like 13, 14, where it's like, all right, what are you doing with this? Are you going to try and play, or are you going to, so that was,
what do you want from it? Kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I think I didn't know, I didn't know that not in the NHL, but at that age, you kind of have to make a decision. As you guys know, are you going to try and do something with this, or are you just playing to have fun? And, so that's where he kind of was able to help me and be like, hey, now's time. Are you doing this for real? Or here's why, I'm going to push you now. And so he started to push me, and I kind of liked it. I realized even with him pushing me, I loved the game even more. And that's when I started to really notice I was making bigger strides and bigger gains. And, and then he would start telling me in a game, that and it was always work ethic based. I remember games I'd have 2 goals and whatever, and it was like, you didn't back check on that, or those were always the moments. It was never, anything other than that, which I think is what's instilled work ethic in my brother and I to this day. It's kind of our trademark, and so to speak. So I'm thankful for that, though, because I think I've always said, he's taught us, I think, just by letting us be around and be sponges, the passion of the game, which I think has kept me in the league so long. You love the game first. You have to. Otherwise, you don't put the work in that you want to. And then after that, it was like, all right, here's what you have to do if you want to be a pro, if you want to get further. And, and he, for him, he did it on his own. He didn't have a dad. So he had a lot of people he leaned on. His dad died when he was 10. So it's pretty impressive that, he was able to kind of carve out a career. And a lot of people don't know this. He started playing hockey when he was 7. He went to Italy. And, so his dad was a stonemason in Sudbury. Afforded to get him over and, had my dad when he was over in Canada, then had to send him back. He couldn't keep him. They went on strike at the mines, and then sent him back for 5 or 6 years. So my dad didn't move back till he was 7, back to Canada. He was in Italy and then started playing. So, wow, kind of crazy, his story, and pretty special. He was able to carve out a career for himself.
Was Sudbury the first time you had him as a coach?
Yeah. That was, oh boy, I didn't know what I was getting into. I'm sure Marcus touched on it, but it was awesome. I'll say this, I don't know how it would work. I think of that Lowry kid in Winnipeg, and it's hard. Tough. Yeah. I don't think it would work in the NHL. I don't get me wrong. It's working, obviously. But it's hard. That's way too hard. Even at my age, I don't know how that would have went down with it's just too much of a business, and the pressures and at least there it was still in junior, it's competitive, but it's he's also, a guy that's had a career and is also able to try and help you get to where you're trying to go. It's not the end result. So he's able to mold, and it's not as, I don't know. I just didn't find it was as serious. So I think I was able to use it as a way. All right, well, this guy has played. I better listen to him, but it's also your dad. So you're trying to figure out, is he mad at me as a player, as a son, or, so there was a couple times where we battled, and I have a mouth on me, had one as a kid. So that never worked. Yeah. Marcus was more the quiet type where just, you'd almost try to get a rise out of him. You're like, say something. Whereas I was like, absolutely, I'm coming back at you with something. So my dad would do this thing where if he was really pissed, he'd come down the bench and he would grab me by my neck and he'd just squeeze and talk really quietly in my ear and just kind of see me on the bench. Just like
I do that to my 4-year-old.
Yeah. I do it to my sons now too.
Good knowing you, Whit.
Oh my God, I'm my dad. What the hell am I doing?
I used to get the belt. Okay?
Yeah,
tough crowd.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, "Oh shit!"
Are you allowed to say that?
That's what happened to you.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what?
Your parents said lock you in a room in the basement.
It's funny. I think fans forget or don't realize like the relationship so many different hockey players have with their fathers, and with their mothers too. For a lot of guys, but I remember seeing Crosby after every game. He'd call his dad. I would call my dad after all my games. Is it still the same for you? Like, do you still talk to your dad now about your game and what he sees?
Yeah.
It's really cool to me to think back to that.
It's awesome, and I think it's so special, and I love hearing it too, because I obviously had a dad who played, but I love even hearing the guys who dads never played and the conversations they have, where the dad is like so positive and it's, oh, you're doing great, son. And it's like, hi, it's dashboard, dad. I mean, thanks so much,
Yeah.
And it's just like, but it's like, what a cool thing that you're still this grown man. You might even have kids, but you want to call your parents after a game and just have a conversation, and I think that's what's so neat about the league. And I was lucky. I mean, a lot of times too, it was nice for me. I was lucky that my mom was still alive when I was playing in the NHL. So that was a neat thing to be able to have a conversation with her too. It kills me for my brother that he has never had that, where you can call home and talk to both parents and, have that. And a lot of times it was like, my dad would be like, hey, it was not, I'm like, okay, put mom on the phone. I just want to talk to her. She usually makes me feel better. So hurry up, please. But that was something that I always enjoyed. And I still do. I love calling my dad after games. And, I think it's a lot of times too, as funny as it sounds, it might, I watched maybe a period. How are the kids doing now? It's not even I don't even care about the game anymore. It's a way for us to check in, and he's a bit of a nighthawk. So he's got 2 boys to watch, and it's pretty special, but we're lucky to have that relationship.
Nick, your second year at Sudbury, you almost doubled your points, same amount the games. Did you do something different? Was it a size thing? Did you grow? What was the big deal where you scored so many more points?
You wanted to hear the wolf. Oh.
Didn't want to get that neck squeeze.
Wolf.
His neck was hurting.
To center ice. Yeah, I always wondered if it was going to drop on the fans at one point. It was coming down this. Oh man!
Between that and the Steven Seagal grip, you had a lot to work for.
No, that was literally just finally. You like anything, you trial and error. You come in the league, you're this young guy. You don't realize how much bigger 19, 20-year-olds are. So you have to get bigger, stronger. I met my trainer, who I've now had my entire career now. That summer after my first year, and just it's amazing when you find somebody that's invested in you, and it just was allowed me to kind of find my game, who I was, who I needed to be in that league, and thankfully, because it was my draft year, so it was a great opportunity for me to kind of play more too. A lot of times your rookie year in any league, you're not playing a ton, right? So my dad had to balance that too with how much opportunity was I going to be given? How much did I need to earn? And I wasn't ready for probably a ton of ice time. So actually, I remember in a lot of ways I was gradual. I remember having a really good playoff that year, and I earned, I think I got a lot of confidence from that we had a good team and an older team. So those guys played a ton, but in the playoffs, I think because someone got injured, I was able to step in and actually play. So I know that kind of catapulted me into that next year. And we had a good team. So and I was lucky. We went to the finals my last year. We had Mark Stahl as a stud defenseman, Adam McQuaid, who was mean, but
Darth Quader and Junior must have been scary.
You know what's funny? I got a couple that always makes me laugh. So Quader, my first year, was like this guy who didn't know what he was supposed to be. So he was tough, but not he didn't want to be, and didn't really know. He was trying to find himself. And then I remember there's one game against Peterborough, Steve Downey. Remember him?
Oh yeah.
And Steve Downey was like slashing Quater, and it was like a scrum in the playoffs, and Quater's just like standing there all stoic, like looking down on Downey, and Downey's like got a stick in his face. He's cross-checking him. Quater's doing nothing. And I remember we come in the locker room after, and this is one of the times my dad snapped before. I've never seen it. He comes in, he hammers like the water jugs. They're all over. And in junior, your bags are on the ground. So now there's water in everyone's bags.
And there's no more water either.
Yeah. Now you're like, oh shit, we got a whole period to play. You can't drink anything. And his Rolex goes flying off his watch goes flying off his arm, and it's like dangling. Guys are like catching it and he's like, Quater, you're so fucking big and so fucking strong. You could kill anybody. And he's like, don't ever let a guy disrespect you like that again. And we ended up losing that series. I don't know if that was the game, but I remember the next year Quater came in and I was petrified of him. Like, he turned into an animal, and not like all he did was fight. He just was a man amongst boys. It was like he switch flipped in his head, and he was like, now that's the Quater you saw and was in the NHL. It was just so cool to see the transformation of him, where he was just kind of like this. He kind of hit a long fuse. Now it was like, no, he was ready to kill anybody at any moment. And, it literally made him I wouldn't say that conversation, but he turned himself into a great player. And it was just so neat for us to see, because, man, we were all petrified of him, and they made us such a better, and we ended up going to the finals, and he was a big part of it. So,
because your father was the coach, were you guys living there in the off season as well? And like, how did you enjoy your time in Sudbury?
I love Sudbury. It's home still. So we spent our time in Sudbury. What's neat is, like, we always go back to Sudbury, right? It was our home. So my parents' home. So we'd always go back in the summers. And, I obviously knew my dad played for the team. I had never thought I would ever play for the Wolves in my life, but it's such a great place, because for all of these years, like you guys know, you're never around your family. We'd always be away. We'd never be. So to go back and be in Sudbury and play, and then have a chance to be around my grandparents, have my grandfather come watch, and, have that experience was just so special for us, because we really never had any family around. It was always just the six of us. And it's a reason why we're so close as a family. But, to go back home and play in front of family and friends, and, and I ended up meeting my wife in junior. So it was special. It's a great place. It's a place we call home. It will always be home. Now we live on a lake. It's my dad, me in the middle, and Marcus just built a place. So it's pretty special that we get to do that too. It's, we feel pretty blessed. And, but yeah, Sudbury's home. Everyone says, you're born in Buffalo, but I consider Sudbury home now. It's hometown. And, so yeah, it's a place I've fallen in love with, and it was a great place to play. Honestly, it's such a hockey town. I mean, it's much, those northern communities, like the Wolves were like the Leafs for Sudbury, right? So when we were on our run, I mean, it was 3 people deep, standing room only, and pretty special.
Hey, Whit goes from $50 a week to Lake Foligno. Not too bad. Not too bad, man.
Yeah.
Holy. You guys got all the lakefront property there, eh?
Yeah.
Just buy it.
We're trying to buy it all up. We're trying to become mayor here soon. I got, life after hockey, you got to have something. So
how long till you own the team?
We'll see. I don't know. I'd love to one day.
Get them coming out of a big wolf head on top of that little thing that goes on the zip line.
I got a few ideas. That would be something I think I would really enjoy down the road. So we'll see if that ever comes to fruition. That'd be pretty special.
Nick, what were your expectations going into the draft? Were you expecting to go to any team in particular? Had you talked to Ottawa beforehand or what?
No, I had no idea. I was one of those players, like, I remember going in there like, hey, all right, Nick, sitting down with my agent, you can go anywhere from the first round to the third round. I'm like, oh, that's a big swing. So, so I met with like 28 of the 30 teams at the time. And, and I felt good about just, I think having a dad, he's like, just get drafted. That's it. You're going to make your own way after that. So it was really special to have, the draft in Vancouver. I went, which was a great experience. I wasn't sure where it was going to go. And, you hear all the names start going, and you're like, oh, I remember that. I played with that guy. I did a little bit better than that guy, or
like, what the fuck?
That guy really slipped.
Standing up, boo.
Yeah. A couple times, like, hope the camera's not on me. I'm like, motherfucker. But then it was really cool. Like, to get called by Ottawa, to have that opportunity to play a little closer to home too at the time was pretty neat. And knowing, that it was close, or that they were just coming off of going to the Stanley Cup they were on their way to the Stanley Cup Finals, but I knew they were a team that you could see they were trending, right? They were always in the mix. So it was pretty cool. It was a really, really neat experience, shaking Gary's hand and welcoming the NHL and then meeting John Muckler and, just having my family there too. It's just, for anyone, that's a surreal moment. It's something you see those guys do, and to be able to be on the stage and do that. My dad's was a phone draft, so even for him, he was pretty excited. So it was really special, and it's kind of the start of everything. So pretty awesome.
When you got to camp, just that first rookie year, you spent a little time in the minors, but was it about halfway through you got called up and never looked back, or were you a little bit up and down that season?
Yeah, no, so it's funny. I actually made the team out of camp. Okay. I don't want to brag, but I think I either led the team in scoring and exhibition, that's
because they made you play all 12 games.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. No, but it was hilarious. I think I did a really good camp. That's all I know. And I made the team, but I think a lot of it, do you remember when I don't know why I'm intertwined with Steve Downey here, but remember the hit Steve Downey had on Dean McCammon behind the net?
In camp, right?
Yeah, it was in an exhibition game. It was like one of our last ones. And anyway, Dino went down, so I think it kind of opened up a roster spot for me. So I made the team out of camp and played for like the first, I want to say 10 or 15 games, and then got sent down and was up and down after that. I was kind of all over the place. And then was able to play in the playoffs against Whit. I remember playing against you in my first playoffs.
I remember that. Well, you missed the year before when they truck sticked us.
Didn't see him in the corner.
I came in the next year where you guys truck sticked us.
Yeah, that was the Gino show and the Crosby show. That was actually crazy because that year before Ottawa was so good, and then kind of just took a hit that summer, right? I mean, it was a different team, but
big time.
I remember like
you guys were ready though. You guys were like, your team was. You could tell. I think you won the cup. No, wait, no,
I didn't.
No, I know, but how far did you go that year?
That year we lost in the cup final.
Cup final,
and then the next year they won it. But I wanted to ask you about Alfredsson, because it's a guy I'd love to interview someday, like quiet. You don't know much about him, but everyone loves him. And like, were you kind of surprised to see the type of guy he was? Was he all that you kind of heard he was going to be when you met him? What was his leadership like? Because he didn't seem to be like a rah-rah guy from what I always saw.
Yeah, no, he was not at all. Like he actually was like really sarcastic. Always chirping me. Like he'd walk by me and be like, "How old are you?" I'm like 19. He's like, "Why do I look better than you at 9? I'm 35 and you're 19. What the hell?" Like, you like get in the gym. And I'm like, "Okay, I'm sorry, Alfie." Like, that was his, but like, that's his humor. But also he was so good to me. Like we really clicked really well. He's one of the guys that like, I really resonated to. I think it just liked his personality. And also, it was one of those guys that like always kind of made you want to seek his approval, those guys they have that about them where you're like, always kind of like, "Oh, is Alfie mad at me today? I don't know what's going on." Like his little dog. So I just loved the way he played. I think that was more than anything. He never said much, but he was just always good. Like his consistent, I just marveled at that. Even at a young age, I was like, the highs were never too high. The lows were never too low. And he just consistently was good all the time. Like he just made a difference every time.
He's one of those guys where people say like everyone has bad games, and there's some guys they like really don't. It'll be like say like 2 of 82 a year where they're like a little off. Like I know what you're saying. It's wild.
No,
I had like 41 horrible ones.
Yeah, no, like especially as a 19-year-old, you're like you're riding high on one game, and then you realize like the next game you're getting punted and it's and. I see it now with a guy like Bergie. It's unbelievable how he reminds me a lot of Alfie, just in the way he comes, like he's just so dialed in. And Alfie was the same way. And, so I really was lucky to kind of be able to watch him and also hang with him. Like he was really good with me. Like we'd, talk outside the rink and have me over and got to know his boys. He's got 4 boys. God bless his wife. So yeah, I was really close to that, but it's funny you say like, he's a guy that like is quiet. Like now that he's not playing, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I haven't I tried to reach out to him a couple times, but like, he's away from the game. Like and he's content with that,
He's off the grid.
And yeah. And he's just, that's kind of how he is. Even in the summers, like you try to get a hold of him and then all of a sudden poof, he'd like show back up in Ottawa from Sweden. And, He'd be like, oh, I haven't skated yet. And it'd be like a week before camp, and he'd be the best player out there. And you're like, what the hell is going on right now? So
it's pretty cool though. He won the Marc Messier Leadership Award, and then you did too. Like, and I mean, it sounds like that definitely he had something to do with that.
Oh, big time, big
That's
time.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a pretty special guy. Like a guy that when I look back on my career is, I'm very thankful I got to play with a guy like him, you know, and learn from him. And I'm glad I was smart enough to soak it in too. I think some guys are, you know, dumb and they just, you know, go about their year. But I tried to gravitate towards him quite a bit, which probably drove him nuts at some points.
I was going to ask about Spezza. I mean, you're pretty good at breaking down players you've played with. I would argue, you know, that was pretty much the prime of his NHL career, and just like the skill he implemented and his long range it was really like kind of like the first time you'd seen anything really like it.
I mean, Spez, when I got there, was in his prime. Like, he was slinging it around, heat lead, backdoor, one-timer, bouncing, didn't matter. Like, those two, it was crazy to watch, you know, and they, you know, they were really like the first duo that you can think of where it was like, oh my God, like every time they were on the ice, something was happening, you know, it was electric. And, you know, I remember Spez was like the different guy though. Like, he was the ringleader for everybody in the sense of like fun, you know, like when I got there in Ottawa, the older guys were like the serious, like, you know, old school approach. And then it was like Spez that was like the goofy, you know, the silly laugh, but like was the guy that brought everyone together, honestly. Like, he was the glue guy in with a sense. Like, he had the house parties, always had the dinners, wanted to do stuff like that, like on the road and stuff. He was always big on being around. And so I really appreciate him because I really liked that about Spez. You know, even though he was the superstar of our team, he still understood what it meant to like be with everybody and have everyone together and the camaraderie and that stuff where, so I think I got a lot of that from him because that's big. I feel that way, especially when I was captain in Columbus. That was something I really wanted for our group. I wanted always us to be hanging out outside the rink and having those things, or I'd host parties or whatever it was. So, you know, it was really neat to reconnect with him last year, honestly, and see him in such a different role from, you know, the superstar, you know, a guy that had all the weight of the world on his shoulders, but still that happy-go-lucky, loved the game. And now he's like the mentor role and helping that team along. And, you know, he's 10 minutes a night and he's on the bike. And, you know, like the Spez I knew was just straight up like field, baby. You know, it was like,
you got to get warmed up now, man.
Yeah.
It starts slowing down. You got to stay moving in between periods. Like, you're doing you're rolling out on the foam roller between shifts. Yeah, it's tough, man.
It's just crazy. Like, you just see, like, now you're not getting the minutes. So like, you see him, like he's takes his skates off right on the bike, pedals, and gets, you know, come back, get dressed. And, but it's just so cool that, you know, he's taken on that role there. Cause I think he's obviously been a big part of seeing some of those guys and the growth they've had there. Right. Obviously. So, you know, it's really cool to like reconnect later on that much longer too. That's, 12, 13 years later. So kind of crazy.
Hey, were you on the team yet? And I don't remember if it was before you were in the league when Spezza walked Saray in overtime. You remember that goal?
No, I wasn't on that one.
Oh my God! If anyone's listening,
was the year before, I think, or 2 years before. What a goal!
It's one of the dirtiest toe drags I've ever seen in my life.
Still might be one of the best goals, you know, top 20 at least. That was disgusting. That's like, and those are the goals. Like, those guys scored. You just got used to it. It was weird. Like, you were like, oh, tonight, you know, it's either Heatley's going to shoot a puck that has no business even getting off of his stick into the net, or Spez is going to have some unreal pass to somebody backdoor that you didn't see coming. It's incredible.
This is kind of random. We've talked about it on the pod before. I know Grinelli knows it. Is it the Ottawa Ghost? And how he used to dub over Danny Heatley's voice. And I think they used to make fun of Spezza's laugh. Were you guys aware of this stuff as it was coming out on YouTube early days?
Is that like, I'm a superstar or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, Heater didn't like that too much.
Did he hate it? Okay. That's what I was wondering what the feeling was in the room.
I remember him not liking that at all. Like, is that when he'd be like, I'm a fucking all-star, I'm Danny Heatley, like dub over his voice or whatever, that guy?
Yes, he would do some stuff online, and I just thought that it was a funny. And then, you know, there was a couple runs even before that when they had like Ray Emery was like with the white Escalade and stuff. But I was gonna ask a random question. You did an interview in 2018, and they asked you for your top 5 singers. Do you remember what your top 5 singers in 2018 were?
Oh my God, no.
It's a random list.
Celine Dion's got to be on there. No,
she's number 2.
It's my girl.
My girl.
What song in particular draws you into Celine Dion being one of your top artists of all time?
I don't even know.
Titanic, dude.
Yeah, that's a good one. But no, I'm trying to think of the one where. I couldn't think of the name. I'm going to sing it. You're going to put me on the spot.
So number one was Garth Brooks, which is fair. Then Celine Dion.
Say, Garth. I got Pearl Jam on there. Garth, Tim McGraw, probably.
Yep. And number 5 threw me off a little bit. I wouldn't have guessed.
Who? Maroon 5.
Close.
Oh my God! Really?
Very similar.
No, maybe it's like Smash Mouth or something.
No, it was. But he had a good one. No, Justin Timberlake.
Oh yeah, you know what though? I think I was just coming off of seeing him in concert, and honestly, he put on a hell of a show.
It's gonna be my. Or is that NSYNC?
No, it was probably
2 older sisters. NSYNC was big in my house. I'm not gonna lie. Shit.
Which concert from JT did you go to? When he collabed with Timberland?
No.
That was when he. Even I bought the DVD, so I was just wondering if you got sucked in.
Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. The Man in the Woods or whatever. This is the most. I think it's his most recent one. I don't know. JT. He was stellar though. That was probably just a throw in. Let's be honest. I was probably panicking. He's probably on the radio. But yeah, no, Celine Dion, I'll stand behind that every day of the week.
All right.
One thing that jumped out at me, I forgot he even played up in Ottawa, was Alexei Kovalev. This guy, I know was a little late in his career, but what kind of a treat was he hanging around all the time?
I actually have a great Kovalev story. He's first of all awesome. He took me up in his plane. Like this guy was, remember when Dos Equis came out, like the most interesting man in the world? That was Kobe, like to a T, man. Like I never seen anything like it. First guy out of the room, he worked out in Crocs. He had his own like workout bench that said like AK-27 on it. And I don't think he ever used it. He's just like mammoth of a guy, like just strong, but like came in Crocs and it just drove the strength coach crazy. But he was so cool because they'd be like, first guy, and then he'd be like, oh, what'd you do last night, Kobe? Oh, I was in New York. I went for dinner. I'm like, we're practicing today. Like, yeah, I just flew back after. I'm like, what a life. Like, this is the National Hockey League right here. And the best part was his return to Montreal, right? And I'm this young guy. And so he comes up to me before practice. He's like, hey, we're going to stay out and like mess around after practice. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Like, Kobe wants to hang out with me. This is awesome. So I'm not thinking anything of it, right? Like I'm like, we're starting to do all this stupid, like, and in warm-ups, a lot of times he would, I don't know if you ever saw, like he would sauce pucks on top of the net from center ice. Yep. I don't know if you ever heard, like he used to stand there while stretching and he'd be on one knee at the bottom of the circle and he would literally sauce pucks. And I'm not kidding. Out of the 5 that he shot, 3 probably landed on top of the net every time. It was insane. His skill level, I still have never seen. Like one-handed roof, and it was nuts.
He was saying the same thing to us.
Like Popeye.
Bananas.
Unbelievable, guys. Like, and his stick was I have his 999th point stick at home. Actually, it's pretty cool. I'm like, because no one's ever gonna ask for that, so I'm like, hey, can I have that? So he like signed it to me, and like you can't flex it. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world. But long story short, so we're doing all these games, like we're rimming it around, see how many times you can get around the. And I'm not kidding. We're probably on the ice after practice at the Bell Center for an hour and a half. No joke when I say this, right? Trainers are like coming out, like, let's go. And he's like, no, like one more game. And I'm like, this is so cool. Like, why does this guy want to hang out with me, you know? And then I realize after he gets off the ice, he goes to one of my trainers. He goes, is the media all gone? They're like, yeah. He's like, perfect. He didn't want to talk to the media. I'm thinking he wants to hang out with me. He has not even close.
You were the scapegoat.
I'm going to take care of this first round pick. Nope, I'm just going to use him.
Just kidding, kid. You're an absolute
decoy. Beat the wheels off his confidence, too.
Oh, my God.
One game.
Man. Hilarious. Like, I'm thinking, oh, my God. And you know what? After I didn't even care. I was like, I got to hang out with Kobe for an hour and a half after that. But great guy. Like, really, really good guy. And just unbelievable talent. So I'm really glad I got to play with him. Makes me feel old.
I got to ask you about another guy because I never once had a serious conversation with him, always was fucking around. Maybe the biggest prankster I've ever seen, Jarkko Ruutu.
Oh.
Dude, how ridiculous is that guy? He literally woke up looking to torture someone.
Yeah. Oh, every day. And like, he's the guy that would like do his own finances too. Like he'd always be looking at the market and all the time.
His taxes.
So, yeah. We'd hang out. I actually loved it. He was awesome. Like
he was an interesting guy.
Really
I liked him.
Like, not at all what I expected when he came over to the team. But like a psycho too. Like,
oh yeah, lunatic.
When he played,
psychopath.
Yeah, but you're right. Like he was very like when he chirped, like he was always very loud too and like boisterous. So it was like awkward sometimes. You're like, oh god, like it would almost make you uncomfortable. But I'm trying to think. There was the game where he bit Peters. That was one of the. I don't know if you guys remember seeing that. Like he bit Andrew Peters right in Sabres, and it was like. And I remember the game, and we're all like, "Did you bite him? Did you bite him?" He's like, "No, I didn't bite him." Like his hand was in my like face, and I was like moving it. And then there's a picture of him. And he's like clamped down right on Peter's finger, and it's like, I swear to God, I didn't bite him. I'm like, man, look at the photo. I think he got suspended for like 5 games. He's like, no, I swear to God. But that's how he was. He was just a psycho, and but great teammate, and actually unbelievable. Shootout guy. Like he would always go for us.
He did that fake shot from the backhand. He made the goalies bite every time. He was sick at it.
Incredible. He had this one-hander too that he would do that would flip it right over the pad. It was crazy how good he was. So, but yeah, he was a really interesting guy and definitely, like you said, like quirky and different, but not what I would have expected from a Finn, but a great guy.
Take us through the trade, right? I mean, it's the off season. How does that come about? Did you know anything? Had you heard rumblings? Like, give us kind of the breakdown of when you heard, because that's always the most interesting time. Is that first trade from the first team is pretty shocking for guys.
Yeah, that was crazy. Reason being is actually I was going through my childhood home in Buffalo at the time. My cousin was getting married in Buffalo. We went down for the wedding, and we had some time to kill. In between the wedding or the next day. I can't remember what it was. It was either the next day or whatever. Yeah, it was the next day. And we decided to go for a drive in our old neighborhood. All our families there. Like I have my aunts and uncles and my aunt decides like we're going to drive by the house, but she doesn't, that's not good enough. She sees somebody out gardening in front. She runs up and is like, hey, these are the Folignos. They used to live in this house. The person is like a big hockey fan. They're like, come on in. So I leave my phone. I leave my phone in the car, go in the house. We're touring around. Like they still had some of like, you do the handprints and like the height things. They still had that in their basement of our stuff. And, you go through the house and it's never as big as you remembered. And, but it was so cool. And literally that's when I got traded. So I come out of the car or out of the house, go to the car. My brother had just gotten Twitter at the time. And he's like running over to me. He's like, Nick, I think you got traded. And I'm like, probably, and I didn't know what he's talking about. He's like, no, seriously. The guys on my team just texted me, like, I think you got traded. And I'm like, holy shit. I go check my phone, 300 missed calls from my agent, Brian Murray, Scott Housen from Columbus. And sure enough, I had been traded in that like hour that I was in the house. So we said that I think my mom had a little something to do with that though, because I honestly think it was time for me to go. I think it was, I remember when I got traded, I was like really excited to go to Columbus. As weird as that sounds, like I was pumped. Like I felt like I was kind of tapped out or was like looked at in a certain way in Ottawa. And that's not a knock. It's just, I didn't think I was going to be able to become the player I wanted to be in that organization. So I was like really excited to go to Columbus where I could kind of clean slate it and be, redefine myself a little bit. And so I was able to do that. And luckily, had some of my favorite years there, obviously. And got into a really good situation where a lot of us came in and were able to kind of just find our way through. And I was also honestly excited about like having the chance to bring a team from, they were like the lowest. That was where Carter and Nash wanted, it was a mess that year, that whole year where Nash wanted out and Carter left or LA. And so it was a really cool opportunity to like try to build it. And I was really excited about that chance. And, the rest is kind of history there. It was a really cool start. That's for sure.
Soft landing. I was just going to ask soft landing right off the hop. Like from when you got there, like rocky start, like who were the guys that you gravitated towards? And was it just a positive experience right off the hop?
Adrian Aucoin was there, which was huge for me. I loved Okie. Like
what a guy.
Yeah. Like, and you know what he was, which was so good was he just, he was an older guy, so he just kind of sifted through everyone's bullshit, you know? And so like the guys that wanted to puff it like on the leader or on this, like he would just call you out, you know, which was so good that year because we were all just a hodgepodge team trying to like figure out the direction that we were going to go in Columbus. Right. And, you know, we had some really good younger guys like myself. Brandon Dubinsky came over in the Nash trade, and he was a big part of our identity at first. And then we had some up and coming guys. You know, Vinny Prospel was there, which was hilarious because Vinny is like one of the funniest practice players I've ever seen in my life. And it was just like a random group too, though, like a really random bunch of guys at first. We were just trying to like find out who the core was going to be and then move forward with that. So Okie was a big part of that. Derek McKenzie was a journeyman and guy that obviously from my hometown is a good friend of mine. That was a big part of that too, that had the work ethic and the blue collar mentality to kind of keep everybody on path. But it was rocky to start. I mean, we ended up that year though, we missed the playoffs by 1 point. It ended up being our GM's rule. Scott Housen, who ended up getting fired, Jarmo Kekalainen came in that year. But Scott Housen's rule about the whole regulation wins. And Minnesota, I think we ended up battling. And they got in over us by 1 win or a half of some stupid rule like that. And it was insane. I remember we beat Nashville to give ourselves a chance. And then we watched Minnesota win after the game. So we're all excited. And then all of a sudden, like, oh. So I remember that year was tough. But then the following year, we ended up making the playoffs. And but I think for me, honestly, it never really started off like, oh, I'm going to, you know, be the guy or have that core. I was kind of a guy that was trying to still find himself. So I remember that first year I was like third line. Ryan Johansson was my centerman. We were kind of like a third line grind. RJ Umberger, Ryan Johansson and I were like the third line. And it wasn't until like the following year that I started to really make some traction. And then Dan Heinold was my coach there. And I said, was like instrumental for me because he finally said to me after that 1 year, he was like, Nick, you got to decide what you want to be. You have to decide. You want to be this third, fourth line, second line guy, or do you want to be a guy that establishes himself and finds a way? And if you want to be that guy, this is what you got to do. You got to be physical first. You got to be tenacious, and then your skill will come out from that. You can't be the skilled guy first and try to make these moves. They work sometimes, but a lot of times you're just too high risk, and it's what drives coaches crazy, right? And so he had that honest conversation with me. I remember coming in the next year and just trying to do that. And honestly, it ended up being a contract year, which always is the case, but it ended up being my best year ever. And I give him a lot of credit because he honestly was the guy that kind of sat me down. And it's funny enough, I'd known Dan Heinold for a long time. He played for my dad in Hershey. So I knew him as a kid. So it was just crazy how that story came full circle, but he had enough care to kind of sit me down and say, like, this is what you got to be. And it's probably the first time I've really been told that, and pretty special. I thank him a lot for that.
Yeah, of course, we got to ask about Torts. He played for just under 6 years. Every guy we asked really, really loved playing for him. Is that the same for you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, not to start. I absolutely hated him to start.
You're just in one when he gets there.
Yeah, like he wanted to come in and just ruffle all feathers when he got there, right? We were 0-8 to start. I was a first-time captain. I didn't have a clue what the hell I was doing. And, you know, I wasn't his captain either. I wasn't even his pick, right? Like
that's a panic.
Oh, absolutely. I'm like, wait, we got John Tortorella coming in. Holy fuck. What are we going to do here? And, you know, and everybody was, right. And, you know, luckily it honestly wasn't smooth that whole year. Like him and I had a big blowout at the end of the year in a respectful way, but we had a big meeting at my owner's golf course. To like Jarmo Kekalainen kind of mediated it. And it was like Torts just said, Nick, I don't think you can do it. Like, I'm going to give you another chance because he points to Jarmo. He's like, they're telling me to, but I just don't think you can do it. I just think you're too nice. Yeah, I just think you're too nice. And I just, you know, I'm going to be honest with you. I just don't think you can do it. And I'm like, with all due respect, like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to shove it up your ass. And, you know, I'm not doing it. But I said, I told him, I'm like, I'm not doing this for you though. I'm doing this for the guys. Like I was voted by them to be the captain. So like, with all due respect, I know maybe I'm not your ideal captain, but you're going to see why. And I'm sorry that I wasn't able to this year. It was a down year but I'll come back stronger and you'll learn who I am and what I'm about. So I think he respected that. And honestly, from that point on, it was like this with us. Like just the trust, the respect, the honest conversations that we'd have. And I really care a lot for that guy. He made me a better player. He made me a better leader. We challenged each other. I think, I don't want to just sound cocky in saying this, but I think I also helped make him a better coach and understanding sometimes that, the way he would push early on in his career just wasn't there anymore. Like you just couldn't do that nowadays, So I think he did soften a little bit and understood why, and I think we helped each other in that regard. So I think there's a big mutual respect between one another and what we were trying to do too.
Did you have to back him off a few times in that regard with maybe like not giving you guys a day off where you went in and you had to be like, no, like guys need it right now. And those types of.
Yeah. It was mostly like just when he would get fired up, like it would just, you have to go in there sometimes in between periods, but hey, like the hell, he's like, I know. And he was so good about it. Like, I know.
You're up 3 and you just snapped on the guys.
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
But he was so like, that's one thing with Torts. Like if he's mad and like, he'll let you know, like if he thinks you're wrong, like he's all about gut. Like that's what he taught me. Like you got to go with your gut. Like if something's not feeling right, you got to say it and then deal with the shit that comes after. Right. Cause that's the only way you kind of get through it. So, his big thing, guys would always laugh is like, he'd walk in the room and be like, my gut is fucking screaming that we're not ready to go right now, and we're like, we're just sitting here ready to go out for warm up. Like I could just tell, I don't know, it's quiet. My gut's fucking screaming. And then, sure enough, that kind of kicked us into making sure we were ready to go or what, but he had such a good way of motivating the group and, and finding ways to push buttons. And some guys, I get it. Some guys that just doesn't resonate with them. But it was always in an honest way, and that's what I think you fight with. It's like, God, it pisses me off, but he's right. And I think if once you understand the message behind the bark then you're like, yeah, it's hard to argue with. And I think that sometimes pisses guys off more because they're like, yeah, he's right. I can't really, I'm mad, but I'm mad at myself, but I'm going to, say that I'm mad at him. Right. So he had everyone's respect in that room, every guy. And it was fun to go to work for him for those years. It really was. We became a better team and you can see it. Like, I mean, look at the Columbus Blue Jackets in those years. We were a force a lot of nights. We were a team that not a lot of guys wanted to play against. And,
nobody wanted to play against you guys. Just outworking teams.
Yeah. And I take a lot of pride in that and being a part of a group that understood that, and it wasn't just me. It was, Dubinsky, it was Cam Atkinson, Boone Jenner, and Seth Jones, and so many other guys, unsung guys throughout that, and it was just such a fun group to go to work with. And he made it fun. He treated us like pros, and that's, I think, what we respect so much about him.
I know I speak for all the guys in that, like, this is one of the best upsets against Tampa in the history of the NHL, right? Like that take me through the meeting that people don't really understand. You have this big meeting before every series in the playoffs, and you go over their entire team, you go over their systems, and you're going up against one of the greatest regular season teams to ever play. Like, what was Torts' message to you guys? And didn't you go down 3-0 in game 1?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was the funniest. That was one of the best because, so a lot of people think that meeting happened after the first period. But in his meeting, like the whole, like, you stand in there nose to nose with them, like you don't take a backward step. That was before the game, And so we were just fired up, right? Like it was awesome speech. Like I literally, like everyone's like, I want to run through a fucking wall right now, and he had like so many of those throughout the years in Columbus. I actually have a couple other ones I should tell you about, but I know you guys probably want to go.
No. Fuck off. We're going extended.
Yeah, you can edit.
You're in Pittsburgh. You're not doing anything tonight.
Yeah. The sun's still up too. We're good. No, but the one that, like, in the Tampa one, he just motivated us so much. And the whole message before that series was like, you're the underdog. You don't say a fucking word to anybody. We don't talk about them. They let them, they're already disrespecting you. You just go about our business. That was his big thing, his phrase all the time. We go about our business and we just play and we shut up. We play hard to the whistles. That's it, And that was just, he wanted us to just like come together and we were going to be an us versus the world mentality, right? And so the best part is, like, we're all ramped up. Like, we're so excited to play. We're like, we're going to get these motherfuckers 3-0. Like, okay. So the best, and I don't even want to, like, the best part is like the in between the periods, you're like, what the fuck just happened, right? You come in the room and you can say like there's this big speech, but it was just like, okay, boys, like, let's fucking play the right way so we can get them in the next game. Right? Like let's be honest, 3-0 down. You're like, all right, let's just make sure we're playing the right way. And we'll take this one in game 2 and we'll make sure we know that they're in a series. Right. And it just so happened that like, I think it was like a delayed onset of that speech. Like it almost pissed us all off that we were like, we get that opportunity where I was able to get that breakaway and score. And then all of a sudden it was just like some light. And Bob ends up making a save actually right before that, like an unbelievable save to kind of keep it from 4-0. And then I'd come down, I was able to score. And then, just after that, it was like all of a sudden our chest popped up and everyone, you could just see the room, like the whole room and the whole attitude of our bench was like, all right, now we're coming. Now they don't know what, like now we got our confidence. And then we just started to roll. And, I think it surprised him. I think just our resilience, our mindset, our mental toughness that he had probably instilled in us for so many years. And so, to leading up to that point, it just kind of all came together that year. And what people don't realize is we had a really good team. Like, I don't think guys understood, like we had Panarin, we had Duchesne, Cam Atkinson, Josh Anderson. We had our fourth line was Brandon Dubinsky, Boone Jenner, and Riley Nash. Like
Seth Jones.
Yeah, like Seth Jones, stud defenseman, Zach Werenski, David Savard played out of this world, and like we had like just a really good team, a solid team, well built. So, and then Bob obviously too, when he played lights out. So it was just really fun to see our team come together, and we had made all those trades at the deadline. So it was like, we were still trying to figure out ourselves, and it was almost like, boom, this is us and here we go. And, I was so proud of the guys. It was a really special one, especially for the organization, like that was their first playoff win ever, series win ever. And for myself even. So it was really special.
I was going to quickly hop in to go back to the Torts stuff, because you said that you tried to mold them in and you helped them grow as a coach, but sometimes those wires would cross and that short wick would kaboom and combust. What were the Torts' greatest snapshots of Columbus during your time there?
Oh man, the one that sticks out the most is the one year we were like kind of struggling out of the gates. It was like a weird year. It was like his third year with us. And he was big on like, he just couldn't help himself. Like he'd come in and I think he would tell himself before, he's like, all right, I'm not going to go around the room. I'm not going to single guys out. But then he'd like fire himself up. And then he just went off one day in the locker room. He's like, Cam, you're fucking struggling. And like, I'm only pointing because I can picture everybody. He's like, Whitney, you're struggling. Andy, you're struggling. Jonesy, you're struggling. And he's like pointing like guys, and he like, Boone, Nick, you're fucking struggling. And the best part was David Savard was like a guy he had been on, like he was struggling and he missed him in the meeting, right? So he's like, holy fuck, like I got my big boys. And then he like catches eyes with Savvy in the middle of like him talking, and he goes, Savvy, did I miss you? Holy fuck, are you struggling? And then like you almost had to laugh though, because you're like, oh my god. Savvy was like he was like so happy. He's like, maybe I'm not as bad. Oh no,
I thought he was safe.
Yeah. And it like broke the room up because we were dying after that. And he just that's how he gets. He gets so fired up. He couldn't help himself. But you kind of appreciate the passion, like there was moments like that plenty of times. And then there's also like the other side of him where he's like the goofy guy where, he'd be like, boys, you win the night. And here's my card. Like I'm putting my card down, going to get drinks, and he'd be like, I don't care what you guys do, drugs, drinks, go nuts. Like that was the way of breaking the ice and kind of getting the guys to come together. Like he loved as much as he was old school but he loved when the team was together doing, like, if you're going to get drunk, you're all going to get drunk together. If you're like, I think it's well documented. Like we spent 4 days in Vegas one year just to skip. He knew it was going to be a shit show, but he's like, no, it's great. They're going to come to play. We ended up playing and winning. And so he got, like, he understood that part. But man, you better come to work, come to work. But yeah, he had some epic blow-ups for sure. Cam Atkinson has one that he needs to tell So if you ever get him on here, he'll have to tell you guys one that's probably one of my favorites.
I got one quick Torts one on the way out. How long after you had that conversation and told him that, you don't care, you're not doing this for him, you're doing it for you and the team, did he say that he was wrong about that? Did he ever come up and address those comments?
Yeah, he did. Probably a few years later, when he came up to me and just said, I wanted you to know like how proud I am to see the growth you've had. Actually, I think
it felt awesome.
It did. Yeah. And I don't think it really it wasn't needed because I knew the way, with our relationship, but it did. It meant a lot to me because I'll say this, you guys know, you don't play for your coach, but you want to respect your coach and you want to, you want to know that they're there for you and they're in the trenches with you. And that's where Torts was really good. You may not always agree with him in some things, but you knew he really did care about you and you as a player and as a person. And so I really respected that. I think it helped me with just, now I really want to go to war for this guy, and as much as your teammates that's the guys you go to war for and you care about the most, this guy is still the one that's going to throw you over the board. So you got to know that he's in your corner as well. Right. So, knowing that Torts felt that way about, my growth and even just the team, I think he was you could see how proud he was of the team. I hate talking about myself. So it was so cool to see how much he fell in love with our group, the core group that we had there. And that's how I think that's what he wanted. It's so bad for us to win there and to go further than we were able to. And, but he was a guy that I just really am thankful I got to play for.
Nick, your time in Columbus ended when you were traded to Toronto last year before the deadline. Where you were going to be a UFA last summer, was it an easier decision to make knowing that, your contract was up, or was it still a tough decision for you?
It was hard. I think when you're the captain of a team and you're going into your last year of your deal, you just feel weird because you're trying to lead and do whatever you can for the group. So when you kind of have that conversation of all right, this might be the end, and you just feel, it feels weird. It just doesn't, it's hard to let go, and, I just knew the direction that we were kind of heading, with, Pierre-Luc Dubois leaving our team, and you could just see that things were unraveling, unfortunately for our group in Columbus. And I just felt like it was time. Jarmo was really good about that though. When I had the opportunity to get traded, he was really good about Nick, and I really appreciate and respect him a lot for that. Is this what you want? Obviously we'll keep you and we could figure this out in the summer. But I just felt I needed to see what else was out there. And also I want to win, and it's not a knock on Columbus. It's just, I knew that wasn't going to happen there. And, I wanted that opportunity and Toronto seemed like the right spot at the time. I know Biz is mad at me.
No, I love him. I fucking love the Leafs. I know why the
word. Sorry I let you down last year.
I've been jock sniffing them for the last couple of years here.
But it was a great opportunity for me to go to a different team, original six team, never experienced that in my career. And I loved it. I mean, I really wish I was healthy and was able to stay healthy through that. It was disappointing for me, and nobody wanted it more at the time than me to go there and have success with that group. And, but it taught me a lot about, myself and how bad I wanted to win. And I think that's what I tried to bring into my UFA summer and deciding to come to Boston. It was just, I knew the Leafs were trying to, figure out the Zach Hyman situation. And, I wanted to go somewhere where I was wanted right away. And it ended up being in Boston. And it was a pretty special conversation to have with Patrice. And, it's kind of led me here. But I'm thankful that it kind of went the way it did. I didn't, leave in the summer. I was able to kind of go get traded and see what else was out there and see if maybe there was a way to come back to Columbus. But it just felt like it was the time for me to move on. I think the leadership there now with Boone, you can see that that's the right guy for the job, and the group there now, they're going in a different direction with the core that they have. And I'm so thankful for my time there.
What were the biggest draws to you to sign in Boston?
It's hard. Obviously I love my time in Toronto, and I really did, consider going back. I think it was just a matter of, when I got that call from Patrice and just, I wasn't expecting it. First of all, they weren't even on the radar. Patrice kind of called me out of nowhere and was just like, hey, I'm assuming you're going to go play with your brother and Minnie. And I said, honestly, my mind's not made up. I I know that would be the easier decision and one that I definitely was leaning towards. But also, like, a lot of people don't, like, my brother just kind of got his footing in mini. And, as an older brother, I think a lot of times you're always the one telling him what to do. You're always, he's kind of has to play behind you a little bit as a younger brother. And I didn't want that. I didn't want me to go there and take away an opportunity for Marcus to really grow. And I'm kind of proud that I didn't, because looking at him this year, I mean, he's grown into an absolute stud this year in the way he's played for that team. And I don't think I would have held him back, but you never know, right? You just don't know what's like, would he deflect to me when, would he be more worried about, okay, we're playing together and I gotta, help Nick. It's like, no, like, I wanted him to be his own man. And you can really see him being that now with Minnesota and the way he's kind of handled himself. And so then when Boston kind of came calling and, Patrice kind of laid out what they're trying to do and his, aspirations to win. And, he doesn't have much time left, obviously, either. It just kind of lined up a little bit better with where I was at in my career, on, how much time I have left too. So the guy I respected from afar, a team that I've always respected from afar, especially playing them in the 2019 playoffs, and just, the way they play, the way the group seems to be. And now being here and seeing it day in and day out, I'm really happy with my decision. I really enjoyed this group. It's a really good group of guys, led by Patrice and Marshy and, Charlie McAvoy, who's an awesome guy. And the list kind of goes on. Brandon Carlo, like they're just a I don't even know how to explain it. Like, just the way they've treated each other and the way they bonded in this group. It's just impressive to see. They understand who they are. And they don't try to be anything different, I should say. And, I know we had a lot of changeover early, so the fan base was a little freaked out with our record. And, this isn't the Bruins of old, but I think
how many death threats you get?
Too many.
All right, tone down the death threats, buddy.
Wasn't me.
I think a couple.
Don't get a parking ticket. RA ain't paying it either.
Yeah, you.
Yeah. But it's been really special, like, now to see our team come together and the way we're playing now of late is more conducive to what they're used to. And it's obviously, a testament to the guys in the room and what we're trying to do.
Get away from hockey real quick, Whit, we were doing karaoke last episode. I heard that you got a pretty good voice and you're willing to even pump your own tires at it. Would you give us a little a cappella for the fans?
Is this for Whit or for me?
No, for you. Whit already did his karaoke. No, he already did it. And RA's already done it, but you've bragged in interviews about having a good voice. I wonder if
I do. But that's the whole
he
thing.
likes Celine Dion. He better.
Yeah, I know. Seriously. God, you put me on the spot. I don't know what to sing.
Well, you've done enough. I mean, you've answered all these wonderful questions, and you don't have to. But I just figured somebody would pump their own tires about being a great singer.
Hey, Biz, we'll get him in Boston this summer.
The thing is, you gotta leave the fans wanting something more. So as long as I don't sing, they won't really know how bad of a singer I am. My kids tell me I'm horrible, so that always hurts. That hurts the confidence. But I think I'm still pretty good.
All right. I love it. And Nick, honestly, it's been a pleasure talking to you. The East is wide open this year. We really appreciate you coming on. You blew Marcus out of the water. We got to tell him, dude.
Standard.
We got to let him know.
Standard. I didn't even get to roast it, really. No, thanks a lot, guys. It's good to be on here with you guys. It's great what you guys are doing. So appreciate it, boys.
Huge thanks to Nick Foligno. We appreciate so much, man. I know he's busy right now. Playoffs coming. He's got all kinds of shit in his plate. So big thanks to him coming on with us. So obviously we had his brother Moose on a couple of times. Very gregarious fellow. Biz must run in the family with these guys, huh? Very well,
yeah,
guys.
and he was pissed that we didn't have him on. Folks, I know we didn't talk playoffs. Once playoffs starts, these guys are basically, they're locked and loaded. We also didn't talk a ton of Bruins because, we didn't want to make him a distraction to the team going in. We will get him back on and we'll talk more Bruins next time. And hey, hopefully it's at the end of a run here. So big thanks to him. Some awesome old school stories, especially with, the back and forth between him and Torts, and how Torts maybe wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of him being the leader of the team and then him completely turning around. So I'll tell you what, man, I was glued in the entire hour and 15 minutes. We can't thank him enough. That family's been very nice to us. And I think we got to accomplish the Triple Crown and get the old man on at some point.
Absolutely. We got to have him with the helmet too if we're going to get him on.
Yeah.
Well, either way, Biz, we want to let you know that his interview is also brought to you by Shopify. Shopify gives entrepreneurs the resources once reserved for big business, so upstarts, startups, and established businesses alike can sell everywhere, synchronize online and in-person sales, and effortlessly stay informed. Reach customers online and across social networks with an ever-growing suite of channel integrations and apps, including Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, and more. Synchronize your online and in-person sales. Gain insights as you grow with detailed reporting of conversion rates, profit margins, and beyond. It's more than a store. Shopify grows with you. This is possibility powered by Shopify. So go to shopify.com/chiclets, all lowercase, for a free 14-day trial and get full access to Shopify's entire suite of features. Grow your business with Shopify today. So go to shopify.com/chiclets right now. One more time, shopify.com/chiclets.
I mean, I've heard that Shopify's they're like a big dog in whatever they're doing, because I hear
a monster.
How do we get Shopify on board? That's kind of cool.
Your clout biz. You're the big boy.
Yeah, Grinelli, how do we get Shopify on board?
Big dogs attract big dogs, Biz. That's how it works in this industry.
Maybe we'll be in like a box at the Super Bowl with the Shopify executives.
All right, boys, your old team, the Pittsburgh Penguins. Not a lot of people are giving them much of a chance versus the Rangers, but after 3 games, they have a 2-1 lead, and most impressively, they've done it with their third-string goalie, Louis Domingue. This is an unreal story. They had a wild and controversial overtime win. A lot of people thought that goal should have counted, myself included. We talked about it earlier. Rangers come back game 2, then Pittsburgh game 3. Biz, what do you got on this one for us, buddy?
Oh, my goodness. Well, we talked about it, we did the live stream on Tuesday.
Oh,
and aren't we doing another one with Pittsburgh and New York coming up because Witt's heading to NYC?
Yes, Monday night.
Or tonight when you're listening.
Tonight, Monday night at the Hoboken Gambling House, and you can watch that stream on the Spittin Chiclets Twitter or the Spittin Chiclets YouTube. We'll have Glenny Balls, we'll have Avery, we'll have Frank the Tank, we'll have Stu Feiner. We got a crew coming back, so we're excited.
Yeah, so we weren't able to talk about it on that the first podcast with playoffs because they hadn't played yet. That fucking idiot Avery. They scored the 2 first goals. He thought the game was over. He forgot that Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin played for the Pittsburgh Penguins. But, that's what you deal with sometimes, these millennials. He's also the guy that Shesterkin said Shesterkin was better than Vasilevsky. So I don't know what kind of drugs you guys are doing in NYC when you're hanging out, Grinelli, but tell him to tone her down.
Help me out.
Sidney Crosby now looks like a man possessed. He looks like he's aware that they're probably not going to be able to bring this core back and knows that this is his last dance. We've referenced it many a times throughout the season. I think if he would have got the full 82 games in, he would have been in the Hart conversation for how he's played. The 2 passes he made to Gensel, absolutely nasty. Moving forward, the performance he had at the end of game 3 at home with those
third period was maybe the best period of his career.
I whipped my cock out behind the scenes at TNT, and I was doing helicopter cock, just like George Thornton said he was going to do when he scored 4 goals, when he did that between the legs. Even if I don't care if it was an empty netter too. I know you Rangers fans are probably punching your fucking steering wheel like Rick from Red Deer when both teams from Alberta lose. But buddy, the on-ice awareness, not only to make that play, but to rag time. And all you kids at home, you know what makes him still one of the best, if not the best player in the league? The selflessness, the offensive zone shifts below the goal line, eating the clock, not extending the shift in the ozone, not taking a crack at the net again, just simply eating clock when they were up 5-4. He gets off, allows fresh bodies to come on the ice to the ozone to continue the offensive onslaught to rag time. And then what can Sullivan do because he's taken those smart short shifts? He could put him right back out there, and he's got just as much pep in his step. He's a hockey genius. It was a treat to watch, considering how much hate I've gained throughout the course of this season for you Rangers fans. Even though at the beginning of the year I said you guys were going to make playoffs and I liked your team, you jump on me about the Capo Caco goal. I already told you to shut the fuck up about that one. I don't even care if I have a bald head on television. As long as you guys lose this series to the Pittsburgh Penguins, I'll go to bed sleeping like an angel.
Dude, I picked them and I want them to win. I mean, want them to lose more than anything. I hate them.
The Rangers fans or just them in general?
I might make a statement that I think I like Islanders fans better.
What?
Rangers fans are fucking... Harry from Hell's Kitchen is a fucking asshole. These people are so dumb. I'm convinced that 99% of Rangers fans never played hockey, which is fine, right? You know, but they're so opinionated on every little call. Avery ruined Rangers fans for me. It's all Avery's fault. How he watched that game with you guys at the stream, what an idiot.
He was yelling in my face.
Dude, he's listening to music before the game. Do these Rangers fans think they're playing?
Hey, you know what we used to say about guys who used to put their earbuds in the locker room before games? Biggest fucking losers in the world.
Because they're not listening to the team music. Losers.
Yeah. Disrespecting the team DJ and not on the same page as a player because he's a selfish fuck. And that's why I called the entire fan base and also the Rangers a bunch of fugazis. I've gotten texts about it too. People love that I called them the New York Fugazis.
That should be a t-shirt. Series is far from over. I'll say that.
Yes.
I feel like Shesterkin's really going to bounce back.
I got a question for you.
Jake Gensel, though. You know what somebody said to me watching the game? Jake Gensel, he doesn't even kind of look like anything special. You know what I mean? Off the ice, on the ice, like, he's not the fastest player. He's not the biggest guy. He's just a hockey player. He just knows the game. He knows how to play. He knows where to go. He's got 30 fucking goals in 54 playoff games.
Yeah.
I mean, the pace that this guy scores when the games become more important and bigger and the pressure gets higher, it's wild to see. And the Penguins, you shout out Mike Sullivan too. That's a well-coached team because a lot of teams blowing that lead and going into the third period, even with the intermission, they're on their heels. They're kind of panicking. We were up 4-1. We had this game in the bag. Now it's 4-4. They came out and had the best period of their season. Like I said, might have been Crosby's best period of his career. He dominated play. And unfortunately for Rangers fans, I mean, Georgiev lets in a stinker. Oh, what a bad goal, RA.
Brutal. Especially when you got fucking money on the Rangers. That was an ugly goal, especially when they come back, being down 4-1. Brutal, dude. But it's not over, like you said. There's a lot
I just want to touch on Gensel quick. There's three things you know about Gensel. He's got a huge rope.
Yeah, fact.
Huge rope, apparently. He loves to gamble. Loves hitting the table.
We saw him at the tables.
He'll take action wherever you want it, and he scores goals in the playoffs. I want to ask you a question. Rick Tocchet asked me this one. He goes, you got the Vezina winning goaltender on the bench. His team hung him out to dry in the first period. You saw the video of him when the coaches were walking out onto the bench for the second period. They gave him the tap. They're like, hey, buddy, we fucked you. We were not ready to play. We got dummied. We got bent over, and give everybody a sniffer in the locker room. So they march back. I think that Georgiev only had to make 5 saves in that second period. Tocchet goes to me. He goes, now that you tie that game, you got all the momentum back. He goes, do you go back to your Vezina winning goaltender? And I said, I think that I don't think that has ever happened in hockey history when a goalie has gotten yanked and then the team has marched back to tie it. And then between periods, you throw back out the other guy. That's so bizarre to even think about, but he's like, buddy, you got the Vezina winning goaltender. And the reason why I said no, too, is because I really liked Georgiev's game after the deadline. He was struggling there a little bit before the deadline, and you don't know sometimes like what guys are thinking because his name was out there for trade bait. I may be dead wrong, but I could have sworn I saw it out there. You know, he could have been a guy they could have traded away to add a major piece. They didn't end up doing it. And after that, I felt he really settled in towards the end of the season. But Whit, you just said it, like that goal was an absolute stinker. We know Shesterkin's making that save. Would you even consider that in a million years doing that move?
No, I wouldn't, because with goaltending, I feel like so much of it is mental preparation and the warm-up that goes into it and the entire game day routine in terms of playing in a game. And I know to come in like as a goalie's injured or is having a rough game or the team needs a spark, it's different. But then to go back in when you've kind of shut off, like, all right, my night's over. I'll tell you what, though, I've told this story before. Cup Finals, Game 5 in Detroit, Gonchar hurt his back in the second period, like early in the second period, went in the locker room all second period, gets showered, gets into his suits, getting rehab, trying to get ready for game 6 if we win. Third period, same thing. First overtime, it starts like loosening up at the end. Second overtime, he gets his shit back on, went out and assisted on the game winner. So players maybe it's possible. That's obviously an injury, so that's kind of a crazy story. Goaltending, it would have been weird and kind of almost weird for the team too if Shesterkin's back in. And like Georgiev, he only had to make 5 saves, but he made the saves. And I mean, it's an original thought by Talk, but I can't see.
As a head coach too, I was like, well, like, would you have done? It's different to say that you might have done it than to actually do it in a game. And there's probably a million other things on the coach's mind, other than switching goaltenders after he's already done it. You talked about Sullivan and having his team prepared. Did you see the clip of him having the pregame speech in the locker room? No gray area with that guy, and They follow orders well, and they went out there and simplified puck below the goal line, win the battles, and then find the opportunities where they are, and they did just that. One guy I wanted to touch on for the Penguins, Malkin. He's been very hot and cold this series. Bad turnovers in game 1, but he did have that assist backdoor to Rust, and then he ends up getting the tip in and the third overtime. He was invisible in game 3 for the first 40 minutes. But he ends up getting on the forecheck, and when Heinen, is it Heinen?
Yeah.
When Heinen scored that goal, the whiff, he's the first guy in on the forecheck. Yep. He makes the play. So regardless of how hot and cold his season might have been and how hot and cold he's been in playoffs, it's all about making the right play at the right time, and he's done it. So if they could get him going more on a consistent basis, though, and maybe even getting back to like 75% of the way he was, I think it was their first cup run. Remember, like when he played against Carolina, that like when he came out from behind the net for the hat trick and his parents were there. If he can get to 75% of what Malkin was at the top of his game, I think that the Pittsburgh Penguins are a force to be reckoned with. I think I had one other note.
Domingue, it's an issue though. I mean, he's had a tough.
Yeah,
he's playing good, and cool story with him eating legit spicy pork at intermission during the triple overtime game because he didn't think he was going in. But it's going to be very hard for them to advance and do anything if he's their goalie. I know it sounds mean. It's just he's not.
No, it's not mean. Tender. He's played well. I think that the Rangers are making him look better. When they go glove side on him, he lets in weak ones. You saw it. The first
Panarin one.
The Panarin one was not a strong goal, guys. I know you're thinking, he went upstairs. It was a weak goal, glove side. And that was, in fact, the short side, too, where the defenseman ended up taking away the far side of the net. So it's like, buddy, like, get your angle. That's like PKing 101. You take the far side of the net, allow him the short side. You only have to worry about half the net. Well, get over there. What I was perplexed about is I think they had 3 other quality scoring chances in that game right after they scored that weak one on the glove in game 3, and every time they went blocker side or low blocker on the other side, where I'm like, expose this guy's glove. Like the scouting reports out there, like I was even talking to Talk. I said, like, what? And he goes, man, he's not strong glove side. And that's the scouting report on him. And like you said, I don't want to be mean. It's just like, that's what it is, man. He's a 3rd string goalie. But to go back the other way, it is a great story. And when they've needed the saves, he's made them. Am I a little bit worried moving forward if they don't either get Jari or DeSmith back? Now I'm hearing DeSmith is done for playoffs.
Yeah, core surgery.
So
that's correct.
Okay, so it's probably like a hernia or something, because everybody kept saying cramps on the broadcast, and then I guess people were a little bit critical of the fact. I want to say it was a former goaltender that had, or I think it was Lundqvist. Lundqvist on the Rangers broadcast was pretty critical of coming out of the game for just cramps. So turns out it wasn't, but I was like, I mean, you're a goalie. Like if you're getting cramp in your groin, like what the fuck are you going to do?
When you guys have played on teams, when you have a goalie who is, not your number one goalie, maybe a 3rd string guy, I mean, the team plays like a little harder for him, though. I mean, they go out because they know they got to like kind of sort of make up for the fact he's not a 1A goalie.
And I think true. Pittsburgh has done that.
Right.
But at time, it's going to catch up to you.
it regresses to the mean. But he was awesome. Those 2 power play or 3 power plays late in the game. The Rangers had 3 in a row. He was incredible. He made some unreal saves there. But also, I'll wait to go back to this like spicy pork and broccoli. Like, how fucking overplayed is this story, dude? Like, they act like he had like 7 pounds of Taco Bell. It's like, he had chicken and broccoli, dude. Like, everyone's like,
well, no, he had
like
spicy pork and broccoli.
Spicy pork and broccoli. Like it's not like is that like automatic shits or something? Everyone acted like,
I mean, sometimes there's just like, I think some fans appreciate the silly stories, and I think not necessarily the most common thing. It's kind of like if you crush like 4 hot dogs or something like that. But sometimes that's the only thing that's available. I'm actually like, that's a pretty nice meal they get during the game.
I think big fucking deal. Like whatever it is, it's like, like he was holding a fucking butthole for like the last 2 periods. Sorry.
I mentioned it earlier. I thought that in the first period, Gallant looked unhinged just like D'Angelo did. He was fucking snapping on the bench. Did you notice that?
Michael Chiklis mode.
The way they started, what a horrible first period on the road.
More so at the refs, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he was just so bent out of shape. And Kreider after the game mentioned, like, for that to be our first road period of this playoff season, like, what a failure. So, I mean, the Rangers have a lot to look upon in terms of positivity with their comeback and getting Shesterkin back next game versus Domingue. I mean, they're winning this goaltending battle, like, on paper. They should be able to end up probably tying up this series. I don't know what the line is if there's one out yet, but I wouldn't be surprised. I know Pittsburgh's at home, but I bet you the Rangers are favored.
I'll tell you, I'll say this and we'll end it here and move on. If the Rangers lose to the Pittsburgh Penguins with no Dumoulin and a 3rd-string goalie, we should be able to throw our Avery from Barstool into the Hudson River, just like Sean Avery's fucking skates. So how about that one, Avery? You want to yell in my face at the live stream?
I'll call him now and see if we can get a confirmation on that.
Yeah. And then we'll make you our gambling mule.
What's up with Dumoulin?
I don't know, but he's playing game 3, and I think he's a little banged up.
Rangers Penguins pick them with a 6 Monday night right now.
So if that's in New York, it's Rangers minus.
Put it on speakerphone, G.
But...
All right, boys.
Avery, hold on. We got you here on Spittin Chiclets, and I just have to ask you a question.
You're a bum.
Biz wants to know if the Rangers lose this series to the Pittsburgh Penguins, can they throw you in the Hudson River?
No. With Louis Domingue, a 3rd-string goalie in net, and then no Dumoulin on defense.
He says this is with Louis Domingue as their goalie and no Dumoulin on defense. He says, what's the alternative if Pittsburgh wins? Or if the Rangers win, I'm sorry.
Have him say something.
Give us a bet, Avery. Give us something to rebuttal with.
We'll give you 10 minutes. And then you can call Grinelli back, and you can think of something that's equivalent to us chucking you in the Hudson River, you bum.
All righty then. What do we got next up here? Dallas, Calgary. Man, another one that's a bit of a surprise. Everybody thought Calgary was going to like just cakewalk over this one. The first 2 games are rock fights, total of 3 goals. Each team won 1 game, and then the Stars won game 3 down in Dallas. What dog? What's your take on this one thus far?
Let me say something to Calgary Flames fans out there. I feel for you and how frustrated you must be because your team made a living on beating teams 5-on-5 hockey. You were a 5-on-5 wagon. Nobody could handle your depth, your overall toughness, your team speed at the top to the physicality at the bottom. 5-on-5 hockey team. And this fucking team refuses to play 5-on-5 once the playoffs start. It's complete lunacy looking at it from a fan of the Edmonton Oilers. Like, what are these assholes in Calgary doing? Because they're not playing to their strengths one bit. And Daryl Sutter has had some funny, ridiculous quotes in his past, but to blatantly call out Johnny Gaudreau for missing that breakaway in game 3 and saying he's got to score, that's what these guys have to do. I don't know, man. That's a little weird to just all of a sudden be going after your top guys who carried you all the way to second seed in the friggin' league, the conference. All of a sudden you're going at him, and he's had kind of playoff troubles in the past. I mean, it is a mess right now in Dallas. And now Dallas at home with Joe Pavelski, who has more goals than anyone in the NHL the last 7 years in playoffs. Just an absolute game breaker when the games are at the biggest level and the highest level. They got a chance to go up 3-1. And Calgary has zero offense. They got 3 goals in 3 games. So I don't really know how you approach this next game, Biz, but things are going to have to change fast.
Yeah, I agree with you on Sutter. I didn't think the comments were super aggressive, but for him to bring up that play specifically, I'm like, oh my God, read the room. You said it, like Johnny, they seem like from a team standpoint, they're gripping their sticks a little bit tighter. They seem way too wound up. They're not playing as loose and fluid. There's that split second of hesitation to their game. Game 3, 4 opportunities on the power play, no goals. I don't think Johnny's playing bad. They're just not, that line in general is just not playing the way they did in the regular season. And like Tkachuk, I think that he's still around the house. He's still there around the rebounds, but Dallas, they are playing some unbelievable hockey. And in that case, most of those 50-50 battles in front of the net, they're tying them up. They're winning the battle against a 40-goal scorer. Lindholm ended up getting one last game, and they ended up striking on a great forecheck by Lewis and Luch to start things out. But overall, right now, it's like the Dallas Stars are beating the Calgary Flames at their own game. The 50-50 puck battles, the disciplined hockey, the penalty. Blake Coleman's a Stanley Cup champion. He was incredible during that run for the Tampa Bay Lightning. The penalty he took at the end of the game in the third period against Dallas, where they ended up scoring on the power play, was just dumb.
Dumb.
Everybody's in position. He slashes Pavelski right on the fucking hands. And I'm going to toss it over to you for Pavelski. He almost told me to fuck off on the broadcast because I begged him to take a few games off because he's bending me over right now. He easily is one of the most clutch players in Stanley Cup history who does not have a Stanley Cup. And it's nuts. From the fucking tying goal to the eventual winner, and what a play by Nemestikov. Kids at home, we used to do this drill in Wilkes-Barre.
I remember $100 Biles would give people.
POP, the POP drill. On a goalie like Markstrom coming over the blue line, as far as he was away, he was probably in line with the dot at the time. You're not going to beat him clean, or at least if you have a shot like Nemestikov. So what's he do? He knows Pavelski's driving to the net. He cocks it. Boom. Perfect POP. The juiciest of rebounds you're going to see in your life. And
tell him what a POP is, Biz. Tell him what it stands for.
It's a pass off the Pats. I think I've said it a million times on this podcast. And in practice in Wilkes-Barre, we used to do a drill specifically for it. You'd come down the wing. You'd put a nice juicy one right on the pad, knowing that if you can't beat the goalie clean and you're not really in a scoring shooting angle, at least give the net front driver an opportunity to bang home the rebound. So you got to put it off the far pad in a perfect way. Markstrom's been great all season. In no way, shape, or form am I putting this one on him. Some of the best goalies of all time, Martin Brodeur would use his stick where he would slide it over and he would deflect that thing out of play all the time. That's what made him one of the greats, because even though you couldn't beat him from there, he knew you were coming with the POP, so he'd put his stick in there. So going back to Calgary, undisciplined, tentative, losing the 50-50 puck battle. They're getting absolutely zero secondary scoring, although I mentioned the Lucic line was awesome in game 3, and they wasted a great performance by the fourth line. They need to wake the fuck up. They need to start getting back to their game and play a little looser. I don't know if we're going to see it. I don't know if we're going to see it.
Mangiapane, nothing. Backlund, nothing. Toffoli, nothing. Coleman, nothing. Dallas is frustrating to play against. And without mentioning Ottinger, we're crazy because Markstrom's actually played really solid. Markstrom's probably been the best player on the Flames, and he's still getting outplayed. Ottinger right now is at another level. Shout out Boston University and where he's at, and Jay Pandolfo getting the head coaching job. That's amazing for the future of BU hockey. But right now, it's like they don't have an answer for him because he's riding that vibe. You see goalies get hot. You see them get the confidence. He's young. He doesn't even understand the pressure. And Calgary, like Biz said, is squeezing the stick and kind of almost like, oh, my God, like that first line, even though we have depth and we're a 4-line team, that first line really, they carried us. They're the best line in hockey this year. And now all of a sudden they're not even scoring. They got 3 goals by 2 players. So I don't know, man. It's going to be one of those things where if Calgary could stay out of the penalty box, everything can change. But I don't know if they're able to because Dallas is getting under their skin, and then they're not showing any patience and any maturity almost to just skate away from certain things. Like Tkachuk, I understand you hate Klingberg. Like fighting him that early, it's kind of like a waste. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's almost that's a good trade-off for Dallas.
Not trading Klingberg is looking like a genius move. Not because, guys, no fights in his career, and he has 2 in this series against the Calgary Flames. I think that you people at home who haven't played need to understand when a skilled guy like that who carries a load offensively, and he's what top 3 defenseman, at least offensively, he's their best defenseman. It just, when you're seeing a guy like that willing to fucking get involved physically, it just does something to the locker room. Am I lying here?
Oh yeah.
Like when you got in a fight, I'm sure the guys would probably do bottle service for 10K table limit that night if you ever did, Central. Right? So where I think that Dallas is really winning the series too is the fact that they got 2 puck moving defensemen back there too. Calgary, other than Shillington, they don't really got a guy who can move the puck and drive offense. So when secondary scoring up front dries up a little bit, they really don't have a secondary punch. People could argue that Anderson's that guy, but hey, he ain't that guy.
Hanifit's got like 10 shots, but he's not super offensive.
No, yeah, he's he to me is exactly what the other guys are. He's the same as Tanev. He's the same as Anderson. These guys are just steady Eddie type defensemen, but they're just really they're not. They don't have another punch, and right now Dallas does, and I don't know. You just got to tip your cap to this team, that building. How have we not mentioned? I'm actually protesting the game. I don't know if I told you guys this.
Those cans,
those fucking tits behind Dallas's bench.
Holy shit!
Talk about
who is that woman?
I was cranking my wrench in the fucking back of TNT.
I mean, you said that's the big D. That was
so we got to roll that G. I mean, for the folks who didn't hear it, like the woman behind Rick Bowness, huge cans, was on the TV all night, and this was business take.
Maybe you were distracted by what's going on behind the bonus there.
Yeah.
Couldn't really see.
I knew you were going to say something. I knew
That's why they call it the Big D, boys.
I knew you were going to say that.
Holy jumping. That's a deep V. That is a deep V. That's all the way to the belly button.
And with that.
Amazing. I mean, that and the ball tap later on to talk it. Just, Biz, how do you concentrate? Somebody said that's Bonus's wife.
Guy, that's not Bonus's wife. And the amount of energy those boobs were bringing into the fan base, to everybody online, like, that's an unfair advantage. That's just that's PEDs to me. That is PED.
That's
use.
cheating.
That's cheating. So hopefully we win the protest and they call back game 3 for the Calgary Flames. But guys, I can't not mention that.
Guys, real quick, could I just jump in? I have an update from Avery. So here's the bet. He says Biz has to play guitar outside MSG until he earns $100.
Not a chance.
I'll give him $100 in 1 second, you moron, Avery.
Or you have to wear a Rangers jersey on TNT and say Avery Zaretsky is your daddy.
There's no way either of those.
Guitar, MSG.
I should have shut my mouth about the guitar thing. We could have easily got out of that one. Tell them that you're our gambling mule and to come back to us. And these are way too aggressive.
Okay.
For how he was talking and how confident he was about the Rangers, he should say, like, I got to buy him a sandwich.
Or how he wasn't talking because he thought he was playing the game during a live stream when you're supposed to be talking. And I love Avery, but what an idiot.
Had you guys ever seen that lady with the tits behind the bench before?
She was at another game recently.
Yeah. She's a frequent flyer.
And I don't know if you guys have this picture, but when she went to the other game, she had another deep V, but there was like strings going across. And then another game, there was this dude who wore the outfit to like match her. It's been being passed around online. So I don't know.
Does anyone know like who she is?
Oh yeah. She's on Twitter. Like, what's his name? Heat Daddy. What's what's his name?
You know who she's dating
Robbie
with?
Gucci.
You know who I get a text from last night during the broadcast? Mike Comrie. It's his older brother who's dating her.
No way.
Yeah, Billionaire's Cut. I got the text from him, and he's like, "You know who that is? That's my my older brother's girlfriend." I'm like, "Holy
good
shit.
for him!"
Yeah,
Heat Daddy was talking. Is it Heat Daddy? The fucking funny Twitter. Twitter
Heat Daddy.
He was talking all about her all night, and like she was like replying to him like all like I actually sent you guys one of the tweets to the text thread. Obviously, you guys didn't see it, but yeah, she was like loving it, man. I mean, obviously you sit behind the bench with you. Fucking triple E's hanging out, you're probably not too.
Yeah, you're 100% going just like the one girl in Toronto. I think she was a legitimate porn star, and she had even bigger cans than this one. But this one, these were fake, but these were very tasteful. She had a great tan, like.
Oh yeah, that's a very tasteful shirt.
No, were those not some of the nicest fake jammers you've ever seen in your life?
Maybe of all time. Of all time.
Yes, they were very nice.
Like the skin color, like the perkiness of them, where they sat, the nipple, the subtle nipple touch, the deepness of the V.
I'm a natural guy. I just have a hard time breaking down the fake.
We know you like the ski slope tits from the 70s, like
banana,
like in Slapshot.
Some banana titties, like fucking Hanrahan's wife.
All right. Anything? I think we're done with that series too, right?
Yeah, just one other note on Calgary. Only 6 Flames have at least 1 point right now. So, yeah, they're obviously struggling to put the puck in the net. What do you got there, G? I don't know if you want to check.
That means we're moving on.
Okay, moving right along, as they say. All right, next series. Un, dos, tres. Who we got here? Oh, Colorado, Nashville. I know we touched on this already. Colorado pretty much dusted Nashville. I know they had the overtime game. Great game. How about Connor Ingram's kid? Playing for Milwaukee, he had some personal issues. I think it was a year or so ago. He ended the employee assistance program, had some personal things going on. He's gotten better. Busting his ass for Milwaukee this year. We talked about him and Riddick, who should start earlier. Riddick, he didn't have a great year. I'm not surprised that, I should say, I am surprised that Hines didn't go at Ingram earlier in the series, but the guy was great second game, but Nashville simply overmatched because, they just can't fucking.
It's very unfair what happened. It's very unfair that Saros couldn't play. Yeah. It's just such a kick in the dick.
Like a wasted season.
And
exactly. He's that good.
Biz, ironically, you would have rather Nashville. If you could look back now, it's like, oh my God, Calgary'd have a way better chance against Nashville.
100%. I completely agree.
So it sucks because Daryl Sutter was right. Whoever gets Colorado, it's going to be a nice little 8-day postseason, which I'm assuming they close it out on Monday night. But it's a real bummer for Preds fans and Preds players even more so because they grinded and they had a great season and they had probably a guy who's going to be up for the Vezina, and to lose him, that was the only chance they had of even winning a game or two, let alone an upset. So it's kind of, you feel bad saying it, but this series was over the minute Saros was out.
Yeah, it definitely sucks that they had that wasted effort from Ingram in game 2. Great game. I know we've been bitching about some of these blowouts and how big the spreads have been. At least they kept one close. And I even thought game 3 was very entertaining, at least till
for a while it was.
Yeah, at least till the third period. Just Nashville, it's even hard to go in with a game plan against the Avalanche. But in that game when they were tied in overtime, just maybe hold it below the goal line a little bit more. Like they were playing in their own end the whole time. So Ingram at the end of the game, he's like fucking keeled over because he's gassed because they're getting all this ozone time. And when they would get down to the offensive zone, sometimes they were trying these hope plays where I'm like, man, you need to fucking just literally eat it below the goal line, keep their guys from buzzing offensively, and at least see if you can kind of like throw off the force a little bit, right? Throw off the rhythm of their game, but they just simply didn't do it. Completely outmatched. And as soon as they Makar ended up putting that one home, you knew the series was over. So good fight for the Nashville Predators. I think by the time next time we record, they're going to be booking their trips through Expedia to go on their all-inclusives.
What a machine Nathan McKinnon is in the playoffs too. Talk about upping your game and just seeing a guy who just you could tell this season he is. And we saw the press conference after the Vegas loss last year. He was as angry as you've really ever seen someone coming off a playoff loss, or that I can remember. I think he dropped a couple of swears, said it's bullshit, something has to change. This is a team on an absolute mission. That goes without saying. It's pretty obvious. But when you have a leader like McKinnon, when you got this defenseman, Kadri's playing smart, you feel bad. There's not much to say about this series. It's over next game or the game after, and then they're on to the next one because this team has one focus in mind, and nothing's going to slow them down.
I think
Devon Taves, too. Holy shit.
I was just going to say.
The worst trade Lou Lamoriello's maybe ever made is Devon Taves for 2 second-round draft picks.
I was just going to say, I think Joe Sakic, to close this series out, Joe Sakic should win GM of the year for simply grabbing this guy who I think in some people's eyes, like if the Olympics went down, they probably were going to bring him. Like
they were going to be paired together, him and
Makar. So all of a sudden you go from a guy who's getting traded for 2 second-rounders to being a guy who's going to be on Team Canada, top 6 Canadian defensemen. So just
Lehkonen was a great trade too. I like his game. Yeah. He's a playoff gamer.
There's no doubt they pushed their chips in the middle. They gave up a first-rounder and a prospect for Kemper. They gave up a second and a prospect for Lehkonen, and then 2 seconds for Devon Taves. And the moves are just looking incredible. Scary moment with Darcy Kemper, actually. That's probably the last thing we should mention. I talked about it on the broadcast, guys. When you're in junior, they make you wear the straight
no cat eyes, right?
No cat eyes. And they do this for this reason, because sometimes sticks can get in there. But when you get to the big boy level, and some of you are saying, why would they ever make a cat eye big enough where a stick blade could get in it? Guys, you need every advantage you can get. And peripheral vision in those masks is very difficult when you're using the mask from junior. You basically have a bar in your sight line. So these guys, when they get to the NHL, much like guys used to get the option of wearing the visor, get to wear these things. And this is the risk that sometimes you run when wearing the cat eye. Apparently in 2019, it happened to Darcy Kemper as well. So he's dealt with this before. Talk got the text shortly after the game saying, hey, buddy, it's just a lot of swelling, probably going to be back for the next game. But that's how a stick can get in on the goalie's mask, guys. I think these guys should be able to wear the masks they do, just much like I thought the guys should not wear visors if they wanted.
Well, the players are the goalies are the ones keeping that rule intact. Right. So fans can get upset that they shouldn't be allowed to wear them. It is a little surprising, but as long as the players want to, that's what's going to happen.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys saw that. I called I tweeted out earlier. I don't know if the guy's name is Kisler or Mark Kisler, the Denver Post. And he wrote a column about like what happened in the game with Kemper getting hit with the stick. It was the funniest thing I ever read, and it wasn't supposed to be a comedic article. He was basically calling the Predators like Peaky Blinders, the way they like played the game. These goons and these thugs, and what it's like, dude, does this guy like even cover hockey? It was so bad it was fucking funny. Obviously, you guys didn't fucking read it, but it's like, dude, like the guy was an accident, like.
Oh, yeah, blatant accident.
He didn't try to poke the guys out. He acted like they were trying to murder these guys and they stink and they're trying to kill them. I was like, dude, how? Like, no wonder why fucking newspapers are dying if this is the type of shit they're putting out. It was like that bad. It was comical. But what else in that series? Anything?
That's it.
Final thoughts?
We're moving on.
Moving right along.
We got one left, and we got a little bit of a shocker.
Big time. Washington.
We got a little bit of a shocker with a team that none of us thought had a chance with Washington, D.C. Capitals.
I definitely thought they had a chance. I kind of predicted this to a T.
Did you?
Remember I said that the Florida Panthers are basically the 2019 Tampa Bay Lightning.
I apologize.
You did, G. You did. It's not over yet, but you did say that. And yeah,
G might get first star of this podcast with his predictions and what's been going on.
Thank you.
It's not over yet. It's not over yet. So let's get the series breakdown.
Pulled off a huge game one upset, then took it on the chin in game two. Like, okay, this is how it's supposed to be. But then they pummeled the Cats in game three. I talked about Bobrovsky going into the playoffs. He's only won one series his whole playoff career. Right now, he's 1-2, save percentage 904, goals against 303. But like to take the quote from Burnett, where is it right here? They've outcompeted us, outwilled us pretty much in every puck battle, every area. Something we're going to have to figure out here. Like he knows basically the Capitals are just outplaying fucking Florida. Pretty much, right, Biz?
So Laviolette, great coaching. He made that adjustment where based on all the video they watched, they said a lot of the way that Florida generates their offense is through the neutral zone. So we talked about LA and how they went to the system they did this year to really clog people through the neutral zone. They adapted that. You saw Ovechkin, and I made the comparison going into this series. It's like, is Florida the President's Trophy team like Washington was, that when they get to playoffs, they maybe can't alter their games and make changes in order to get over the hump? Well, Ovi's sitting back in the neutral zone, beautiful poke check on Uyghur, and then Kuznetsov goes and ties it. And they didn't alter their game plan, even though they got spanked in game 2 either. And in fact, in that first period, I think even after having a power play late in that first, they only had 2 shots on net. So game 2 wasn't on the Caps team. I thought it was more on the fact that Vanacek just wasn't very good. So all of a sudden the storyline changed from, Florida takes it on the chin in game 1 to, okay, Washington goaltending. So I'm like, okay, they're going to roll them now. It's going to be done in 5 games. Haha, joke's over. Well, I said it. 6 of the 16 teams coming into playoffs used a 2-goalie system all season long. Washington being one of those teams where they really didn't even have a choice, Whit, because at
39-39 they had this year, those two games played.
And I think shakiness throughout at least half of the season for each of them. So going into playoffs, Lavielette's comments to the media were, it's anybody's net. So Vanacek must have had a stronger end to the season. He starts it out. He let that 3rd goal was the backbreaker, in my opinion, the one that Marchment scored, 5-hole off the rush. Game was over after that, even though Washington was putting up a fight. But then they go to Samsonov at home, and then they fucking give it right back to Florida on the chin. But 29 comebacks this year for the Florida Panthers, NHL record in games where, you come out, you play it a little loose. If we lose one, we're already rolling now. Who cares, But, hey, we know we're going to come back. And these ones, hey, boys, fuck, we've done it 20 times. Well, guys, you're playing against not only a very experienced team who has a core who has got over the hump, you can't just necessarily turn it on like that in playoffs. That's not how it works. Maybe, you might have one of those during a run, maybe 2. Well, keep flirting with it. You're going to see what happens. You're going to see a team who had goalie question marks coming in, and now no Tom Wilson. They lost one of their most valuable playoff players, and now up 2-1 in the series against the President's Trophy winner, who rattled 13 fucking wins off to end the season. This would be like a colossal loss for Florida if they lose this series. What would be able to propel that fan base and growing hockey if they fucking blow this after having the season they did? I think it's far more costly than when Washington was doing it multiple times.
Just move.
This would be colossal to the Florida Panther organization if they fucking fumble the ball here.
I picked Florida, but after seeing the first 3 games, I wouldn't be surprised. And the thing about Florida is all year you wondered, can this style play win in the playoffs? Like, is this the type of hockey that can get it done? And right now it looks like no. It looks like a team that, averaged over 4 goals a game. All of a sudden they go a little dry and things tighten up, and they're not the same team. And I don't understand, Biz, explain to me how Ekblad goes out and Florida goes to a 5-forward power play unit for the rest of the season, and they light it up, and the power play is doing phenomenal. And yes, it's the playoffs and 5 forwards, but Ekblad comes back and you immediately put him back in, and their power play sucks. It's like sometimes I swear to God, the amount of overthinking that goes into this stuff is just shocking because yes, Ekblad was a great power play player. He still is. And the power play was great when he got injured. But you can't be switching things up at the end of the regular season right as you go into playoffs. And now Washington's power play, who I think was 23rd in the regular season, they look way better than the best power play in the league, or one of them. So it's little things and special teams. It's special teams and goaltending in the playoffs over and over, year after year. It doesn't change. So Florida, as a team that's run and gun, it can come back, it can light up man advantages, and now all of a sudden they can't. you got to wonder how this series ends up going. I do think Florida bounces back and wins Game 4. I'd be surprised if they don't even this series up. But the way it started off is certainly alarming because the same way we also shouted out Crosby in his Game 3 performance, Ovechkin was no different. He had a rocket one-timer goal. I don't know how he's left that wide open. Same exact Ovechkin goal we've seen a million times from the top of the circle. He ran over Achari, Barkov, Huberdeau, Forsling, just a man on a mission, the same way Sid was. Probably also thinking, time's coming to an end at some point here. How many more chances do I have? Everyone picked against us, but Florida right now is looking like a team that isn't comfortable playing playoff hockey, right? In Game 2, they were great, but I don't know. It's one of those things where the regular season becomes so easy, and you see a team have so much success and so many smiles, and the entire year you're not really dealing with any adversity besides losing Ekblad. And from then on, you ended up going on a run that was, I think, as good as any other team had throughout the entire season. So it's different hockey, and I don't know how they're going to kind of come back. And they can win this series, but can Florida win the Cup with the way they play? I don't know. I don't think so.
So, Whit, to ask you, if you got the ability where you get a mulligan on a series call, you would say that right now you would switch your pick to Washington over Florida? Because if I had one right now,
Wilson's tough. No, Wilson's tough as this series goes longer. So no, I'm not going to switch being down 2-1. But I'll say this. If I was 100% confident when I made the pre-series pick, I'm at like 62% now.
All right. Anything you're seeing in that series? I just the most worrisome part was the frustration that Washington is causing Florida, and the undisciplined penalties they took in that Game 3. It was just like Duclair shooting the glove at the guy, like
dumb,
just like complete brain fart. And then I don't know who, somebody ran somebody from behind where it was just a blatant.
Did Bennett do something? Bennett looks like he's on edge all the time. Make it like I don't know. It's good in a way, but
too much pawn hockey going on for Florida. They got to tighten it up. I'm done with it. RA, what do you think?
I mean, the power play's killing them. 0 for 9 on the power play for the series so far. I mean, when you got that much firepower, you can't get it done. It's going to kill you every single time. Also, Game 3 was the first time they've scored one goal or fewer since back January 21st. But, that's why it's a new season of playoffs, man. Like, you're talking about Peter Laviolette, the guys take I think 3 teams to the Stanley Cup, 1-1. He's got a lot more coaching experience than Brunette, which something maybe we underestimated before. And Brunette's done a great job. Obviously, he's probably going to win the Jack Adams, but Laviolette's got 15, 20 years on him as a coach. That team has way more experience than Florida. So yeah, I think maybe we all, and not just us on this show, other shows, maybe underestimated what the fortitude of Washington and how much character they have, because this team won the Cup 3 years ago, and there's still a shitload of guys from that team. So I mean, hats off to the fucking Capitals for what they've been doing. And Willie, hope you're feeling better, buddy. I hate to see the guy out. I love watching him play. So.
I love watching them blow guys up too. Hey, and if we're speaking of mulligans, Whit, Washington's fan base, they've been nice to me, even though I completely wrote them off. So I apologize. The fact that I never gave you guys a chance and I said you guys were donezo in the first round, didn't matter who you played. I'm a fucking loser. I'm an idiot. What's the saying, Whit, when you said it the other day from the movie? I'm an idiot. I stink. I suck. What was that from?
From Happy Gilmore when he's apologizing to Chubbs, trying to get him to coach him again so he can get his grandmother's house back.
I'm putting the Happy Gilmore hat on today. I'm a fucking moron, Washington fans. I'm not apologizing to any other fan bases today.
So we have another episode coming to you guys. It's Monday you're listening. So Thursday morning we'll be back. So we got a little long-winded, but we did have a week to catch up. We are done with the series, correct, boys?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I need to shout out, I actually don't even know his name. But when I tell you the kindness this guy showed, so we played in the Mass 4-ball, my buddy, the one-armed bandit, and I birdied the first hole. We then sucked. I sucked the second day. We played horrible. But the first round at Duxbury Yacht Club, a guy in the pro shop came out and said, hey, somebody left you a package. I was like, what the hell? The package had a $400 bottle of wine and a $200 bottle of whiskey with this note. Whit, small token of appreciation from a big fan of the pod. It gets me through my long commutes and has made me a big hockey guy. The Cast 23 wine. Oh, and a cigar, and a Davidoff cigar.
Holy
and the
shit.
Davidoff is all yours. Please share the Kentucky Owl with Biz, Grunelli, and RA next time you're all together. Thank you. So whoever this guy is, maybe one of the most generous, nicest things anyone's ever done for me, just because he enjoys the show. I can't even shout out his name because I don't know who it was, and all the note said was thank you. But what a move and what a class act. And I did have some of that wine, and I smoked that stogie. So thank you so much, sir.
And to touch on the note too, first of all, whoever sent that, thank you so much. Like, sometimes we go back and forth about length of podcast, but then we hear messages like that because a lot of people, when commuting and they need something to listen to at work all the time. So we know sometimes we run long, but that's how we like to do things around here. And some of these things go 3.5 hours. So to all of you who show us appreciation for kind of just letting us be us and do it the way that we want to do it, we really appreciate you back. Because I know maybe it's been a while since we played a lot of tummy sticks with the fans. So thank you guys for all your support. And we hope that we can actually enjoy that whiskey with whoever sent it to you, Whit. I'm
pumped to be streaming this week too. So tonight and tomorrow night, please tune into our YouTube channel, barstoolsports.com and Spittin Chiclets YouTube. And we're going to have a special crew of R.A. Grinelli, myself, and some Barstool characters and Merles Monday night and Tuesday night. Same thing, along with Brian Yandel and Mike Model from the Rink Shrink. So it's going to be a really fun 2 nights. We're going to have some great hockey. And what's going to really be special is if the Penguins can get it done right in Avery and Glennie Balls' face.
Guys, and we also just released a ton more T-shirts for playoff teams. So check out barstoolsports.com/Chiclets. We got T-shirts, we got sweatshirts, we got tons of gear for every team. So check it out.
Actually, you know what? And because you fucked at the beginning, can we get another Pink Whitney ad on the way out? Can we maybe even just half of it? Because I know this we got a little special promotion going. Actually, we have 2. We have the shot one all playoffs long for when your team scores a power play goal, and we're doing a Wednesday Instagram giveaway on the Pink Whitney account. Gurnelli, what kind of packs or packages are we giving away to the winners?
Some really cool golf packs, some merch packs. We have giveaway. There's
beach
so
coolers.
Much beach coolers. There's so much good stuff. It's basically a whole summer pack, so you don't need to go anywhere or do anything besides drink Pink Whitney.
Hey, I'll even throw this one in. If whenever it's supposed to end, we should go one more week, and I'm gonna put the Zamboni they sent me up for grabs.
That thing is incredible.
Yeah, it's an electronic Pink Whitney Zamboni, and it drives over like the drinking glasses, and it's got room for ice in it. It's fun.
Yeah, it's got a controller, and when you open it, it has you saying "not a big deal."
Not a big deal.
All right, playoffs are on. Obviously, madness for the podcast. 8 series to go over. Hope we kind of got to all the major storylines. And please check us out tonight, Tuesday night. Tonight and Tuesday night I meant. And we'll be back to you Thursday morning with more updates. Peace.